specifically for Black people? Absolutely 100% no. I want to know in the last 60 years, what has the Democratic Party, give me 5 superstar things that Black people right now have experienced from the support of the Democrat Party. I want to know. And if somebody can prove me wrong tonight, then prove me wrong. But I want to know. I want to even know the history. I want to know the bowel of the Democratic Party. Has the Democratic Party always been in the corner of Black people? I want to, as we go along further in the weeks, we're going to continue to break this thing down in the Black community. And one of the things I want to break down tonight is the Democratic Party is a plantation for Black people. It's a plantation. It's a mental plantation. You never seen fences at a plantation because they had them mentally restrained. The Democratic Party is that. Next week, we're gonna discuss Dr. Martin Luther King, who was a Marxist, and he was not good for Black people either. Matter of fact, I'm going to prove to you that he didn't even believe in the Bible. We're going to discuss that next week because we have to start some of the things that Black people are attaching themselves to has corrupted us as a people, and we really don't know the truth. Well, we're going to know the truth here on Black Man Unfiltered Network over here. We're going to talk about the truth. Martin Luther King, I'll say it here and I'll say it first and I'll say it loud and proud. Martin Luther King was not shit. He had a dream. He was a puppet. And when the puppet got out of line, the puppet got buried. But we'll discuss that next week. How Martin Luther King led the movement with a racist white woman that led to 22 million babies being deleted. We're going to talk about it, but tonight, right? Because we know Martin Luther King was a Democrat too, right? A Democratic puppet. We know Jesse Jackson, opportunist, Democratic puppet. Al Sharpton, opportunist, Democratic puppet. All of our leaders were puppets. All of them. Except Malcolm. Malcolm X was that's the guy. If you want to go back in history, you want to talk about somebody, Malcolm was the guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe Malcolm. But Martin Luther King was knocking more holes down than Future. But we don't talk about that though. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come on the panel tonight, I would love to have you. We have a few good men in the back right now, pause, that we're going to bring up and have this discussion tonight. I am going to allow anyone who's speaking to have uninterrupted time. Uninterrupted discussion on their part, and then we will rebut anything that they may say that we could correct and or have a sensible argument, adult argument about. Okay? So I'm going to bring up these two fellas first, and then I'm going to put the link in the chat for anyone that would like to join the show, because I want to know tonight, what have Democrats actually done for Black people? What has Democrats actually done for Black people? I'm going to drop the link for anybody that wants to come up, but the rules are simple. Come up. This is Black Men Unfiltered. You could be as unfiltered as you want, but come up. Make sure your camera's on. Make sure there's no TVs on in the background. Make sure there's nobody talking in your background, because we want to make sure you're heard. We want to make sure you're seen, and we want to make sure you're on camera. Okay? And we're going to talk about that too. And I see you in the chat talking about the 94 crime bill. I know what party that came from under. Or the 3-strike rule. Yeah, we know where that came from, for sure. Stop and frisk. Come, but I'm going to allow the Democrats to speak tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring up the first brother that's on this network always, sometimes, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Friday for Barbershop. Y'all give it up for yours truly. Our Pain is in the building tonight, man. It is so good to see my boy Our Pain in here tonight, man. So
what's going on? What's going on?
Good. All right, now the next person I want to bring up, man, I met him a few weeks back. Me and him had some spats on the TikTok circuit, talking about politics. I want to bring up my other brother from another mother. Give it up for Goldie in the building tonight. What's going on, my brother? I want to bring up my other brother. You got an echo in your background, Goldie. I think you may have. Okay, we went away. All right. Last but not least, I'm going to bring up another brother, man. Listen, the brother is in his 50s, but looked like he in his 20s, and he stayed away from a lot of women. So I think that this is a good brother. He's a father. He is a husband. He is a good man. Seriously, guys, all jokes aside, he is a really good guy, really good family guy, and we love him here, man. And whenever I can get him on, I'd love to have him. So, guys, put your hands together for the one and the only man. James in the building, man. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, y'all?
Good to see you, man. I see you getting ready, Nikki, so I'll bring you up when you're ready. So guys, I want to have this conversation tonight, and I don't want to have, the screaming, like, all the screaming and cussing each other out like other panels do. But I really do want to understand something. What actually has the Democratic Party done for Black people? And I have an opposer here. Our Pain and I will be the opposing voices tonight. However, I would like the Democrats to speak first. And Goldie, I'll allow Goldie to go first and then Dame to come in. Goldie, give us your thoughts on what has the Democratic Party done. Nikki, give me a thumbs up when you're ready. What has the Democratic Party done? Hold on, I'm bring up Nikki first. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing up hey, nothing like good old kinfolk in the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen. All right, she is a vet. She is she's an educator. She is the wife of a pastor. Give it up for yours truly. Nikki is in the building. What's going on, cuz?
What's going on with you? Good evening. Okay, yeah,
I can hear you real good. All right, so we'll start with you first, Goldie. Goldie, what is it that the Democratic Party has done for Black people that stands out that we enjoy today?
A good economy, prosper business, better business opportunities. Black people have also benefited under Democratic rule of growing their wealth as a single and as a married couple. They had better tax breaks under Democratic Party, and they had better loan opportunity and better time to grow their business of under the Democratic Party. And that's what I felt like right there. I'm just going to leave us that so far until we go any further on it.
Okay.
Some good opportunities right there.
All right, Dame, you in the building tonight, man. What stands out to you? What is the superpower of the Democratic Party that has stands out, that makes, that we enjoy today, that the Democratic Party gave Black people as a culture?
Yeah, that voting is pretty nice. I mean, that's always nice that you can vote. Mm-hmm. So, it was Democratic Party that did that. You wouldn't even be able to really have a say in anything if it wasn't for Democrats passing the Voting Act, the 14th Amendment. So that's always good. Affirmative action was a positive thing. It gave a lot of Black people access to the spaces where we've been historically locked out of. That was always good. It was the Democratic Party who started the whole funding for historically Black colleges, to make sure that Black people have a chance to educate themselves. That's always good. Is benefits like SNAP and WIC and all that kind of stuff were all put into place under, they were expanded under Democratic government. So yeah, there's a lot of things that Black people have, healthcare, the ACA, more Black people had healthcare than ever because of Obamacare. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Black people have enjoyed just because of the Democratic Party. But we can keep moving.
Okay, absolutely. First Lady in the building tonight. What has the Democratic Party done for Black people significantly that stands out today?
I would like to echo on what some of the others said with the voters' right. I mean, I can't stress heavy enough about the voters' acts and the overall benefits that just don't necessarily benefit blacks, but blacks and white as a whole. Your Medicaid, your Social Security benefits, just the expansion of everything. And they're one of the few that actually fight for us. At the end of the day, both parties have wealth, but you see, one party is more willing to share the wealth, like what the Bible actually emphasizes, um, and the other party is more built on stacking up their storage house and not sharing. So those are the things that stands out to me the most, I guess, because I have a lot of family members that benefited, and a lot of my grandparents, well, our grandparents actually were able to gain access, and a lot of the Jim Crow laws were defeated by Democrats.
Okay. All right. Now, Arpain and I Arpain is an opposing voice because he had a show on this Monday right here on this network, guys. So if you ever want to watch his political views, you could definitely come in on Monday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time and watch it here on this network. Arpain, what are your thoughts? Do you disagree with anybody's comments so far about how impactful the Democratic Party has been?
Well, listen, let me first say that I voted for Hillary Clinton. I'm just like every other black person who was born into the Democratic Party and spent half most of my life in the days that they were doing these superficial things for us. Now, affirmative action to me was the first reparations that nobody really want. It was really a reparations program, but these programs are temporary. That's why the white women were able to hijack it. You know, some of the things they put in place weren't meant to be for a lifetime. And so all I'm saying is, one, since LBJ, and listen, here's the one thing about LBJ, and I'll come back to it. When they say that once he signed that civil rights bill, that he'll have the N-words eaten out of his hands for 200 years, I can't find that quote anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I think it became an urban legend. But the point is that in 1964, coming out of Jim Crow, which I was born in Jim Crow, I was 6 years old when it was over. 25% of our kids were born out of wedlock. After the 60 years of the Democratic rule over blacks, we're up to 75%. And you know, it was only 3% back then for white people, and now it's 26% for them now. So I'm looking at outcomes. We go to our neighborhoods, and after 60 years, we're still fighting for the same goddamn things. Now, there was just, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to end it. Just recently, I think a Walgreens closed in a black neighborhood. I forgot what city it was. I don't know if it was Memphis or somewhere. And then the typical race hustlers come out here and say, well, Walgreens is racist for leaving. But nobody in the black community was saying, well, the YNs, and I hate that term, was robbing the place blind. Right? So I'm saying, instead of using the bullhorn, the typical Democrat bullshit, saying that we got to, you know, these corporations are racist, that same legislator, that same guy could have came out and said, well, you know what? This Walmart is needed in this area because if they leave, we'll have a food desert. We'll have a pharmacy desert. So we need to treat these places special. We need to get the mayor, the cops, the local legislator to put some cops in that area so we could protect those organizations so people can't rob them blind, right? And we protect those things and instead being proactive. But no, we never hear that. It's always after the fact how we're victims and shit. There's another thing. I'll take it one more. I said I was going to shut up. If I was the same guy who's a legislator, not only would I have protected zones where the cops are there protecting and throwing people in jail, I would say now that we're protecting those businesses, I'm going to go to corporate and say, hey, listen, in this area, you're doing really good business in this black community because we keep it safe. How about giving us some discounts on a regular basis because we're protecting your stores? And we're keeping those stores in the neighborhood so the old lady doesn't have to go 100 miles to get her shit and all that kind of stuff. But instead of doing that, we come out with the bullhorns. Oh, woe is me. I'm a little black nigger and I need somebody to help me. You know what I'm saying? And so we need to get away from that. So my biggest thing with the Democrats is that it's something psychotically wrong with us voting for them over 90%. That's more cult-like. We should be somewhere in the middle. We should be looking at policies on both sides and voting for people not because they're black. And part of my thing yesterday, I put up like 30 freaking black women who were judges, mayors, lawyers, DAs, legislators, and every single one of them in the last 10 years was fumbling the bag over some criminal bullshit because they're trying to be like white people. You know, so I'm just saying, you know, we need to be somewhere in the middle, and you can vote Democrat if you want, but let's do it on policy and not on skin color. Let's do it on policy and not on skin color, and not on whether the person has a vagina. You know, that kind of stuff. We need to grow up legislatively and be independents.
Can I retort?
Yeah, you sure can. Go ahead.
Just mainly to you, I do the first part and your last part. Your last part first. Not many people who have a skin color of us or have vaginas are running. The majority of the people we vote for don't look like us. Yeah, if you're in Atlanta, maybe there might be some more, but around United States, New York, California, Texas, everybody else, you don't find a whole lot of people voting just off skin color. I think people are voting based on historically who has had our best interests as a people in mind the most, and it has been historically Democrat. And to the first point about the Walmart, most of these people like Walmarts and the people that are closing, it's not just because of black people are robbing them. It's a lot of because of most of them, if you dive into it, we'll see because of people, the delivery services and stuff like that, and what have you. People have more access. They're going to what's cheaper as opposed to and more convenient. Target is expanding at the same clip as Walmart was, and they're not closing down any stores, and they're in the same neighborhoods. So I don't think we just can blame Walmart. Walmart's they didn't change their business model, and they suffering from it. It wasn't because black people were robbing stores.
Just a minute of talk, because I don't really disagree with anything you just said, Damon. Because the point really is this: if in general we don't mind voting for white people, then why are we crying over the second emancipation of the American Negro by the SCOTUS changing whether you can gerrymander based on race? If we're not afraid to vote if the people are white, but they have the right policies, that's who we should vote for. So we can't say, just because I can't pick a black man in a certain area, that we're being discriminated against.
Well, we can't keep anybody in any area.
Wait a minute, let me just finish this. Okay, if you were able to vote on April 28th, because you had the right credentials, SCOTUS put out their edict on the 29th, and on the 30th, you're still able to vote. They just said you can't gerrymander based on race. And that is unconstitutional. You could do it based on partisanism, but not on race. And if we vote for white people, if they say the right things, then what are we worried about? Then what are we worried about?
Well, most of those districts are like that because we do vote for the white person that is best interest for us. But when they rejiggerman those districts, they more districts to people that don't got our best interests at heart. So when they put those districts in there, they don't got our minorities' best interests at heart. They got their best interests at heart. And they're not looking to benefit us. And even though if they come with the policies that if we have a candidate that's in there that has the policies that we want, that we got for, the policies that the other people that's more against what we have or what we want is going to vote for that candidate to eliminate what we have. And that's why they rigged those lines like that so they could get what they want. And that
I'm sorry. No, listen. Gerrymandering is a bipartisan thing. Both parties do it. So, and it's, I think it's bad all the way around, no matter who's doing it. So on that, I'm not going to argue with you. Remember now in Memphis, in that district they're getting rid of, there was a white man there for the last 20 years, Cohen.
Yeah, and black people like him.
And for the last 20 years, they still needed to bring the damn National Guard in there to get, to put it back in order after 20 years of Democratic rule. I mean, let's just look at the places where we're putting our trust in. Are they getting better at that lower level or not? And if we're still at the bottom of every scale, what has the Democrats done materially for us on the bottom? We lead in all the bad shit. And how come? And it's not just because we vote Democrat. It's something else wrong that's not being addressed.
Let me respond real quick.
Yeah,
just want to make this quick segment ready to gerrymandering. Black people don't lose anything when Democrats gerrymander anything.
Yeah,
we only lose our voice when white people, when the white politicians, when the Republicans gerrymander. That's the difference. Black people still have a voice when Democrats move redraw the districts. Sometimes it even increases our voice. What happens is we lose it.
You only have a voice if you vote for a Democrat when they gerrymander. We have thousands, millions probably of quiet conservative blacks who lose their voice because they're being ignored by the Black Democrat community. Not only ignored, they're being vilified, demonized. They're being D.L. Hughley. They're being all that bullshit. And like, we can't think autonomously unless we follow this liberal, democratic, socialist way of life. And it's killing us.
But most of those
at the lowest end. It's killing us at the lowest levels.
But most of those Republicans you speak with us are black, right? They're not speaking for the black, right? I just said that most of the Republicans that you're speaking about that are black, right? They're not speaking for the black community. They're speaking for their own community. And I want to say this too, go back on the Memphis thing.
Okay.
You speak about the Democrat that was in office in Memphis that's white, and he did not do nothing for the, had to send the National Guard in. Well, that was Donald Trump showing off. Also, if you're in a state and you're the only blue dot in a bunch of blood, it's hard to push your agendas through when every time you bring your agenda up, the Republican Party shoots it down. If they have a interest in the black vote or the black people there, then the black people would have been voting black or would have been voting Republican. And they would have voted that they could Democrat it out. But instead, they know that that's the only voice they had was that Democrat, because the rest of the people up in there was not listening to what the people in the blue district was saying that would happen to be black or minorities. Because this just don't affect black people, this affect, Latinos too, because most Latinos and black live in the same community. So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll let you go ahead with that.
Listen, one of the
and
things,
we're gonna get Nikki. You come in next.
And I'm gonna be real quick. One of the things I want to get straight, and maybe I made the mistake. I didn't say Republican. I said conservative. I think conservative thought process, not necessarily. When we make that synonymous with being a Republican, I think that's a fallacy. Just like being kind of liberal or somewhere in the middle. I could assume that you're a Democrat, but a lot of those people say they're independents. So when you have conservative thinking, there's certain things that are being pushed by the Democrats you just can't agree with. And that's where I stand. And we don't have to get into that one. But, like I said, I think one of the things, and this is real quick, one of the biggest problems we have is that we keep looking through life through the lens of our skin color. I think if we find things that's good for America, period, as us as Americans, I think we'll think straighter. When I see a black person touting sanctuary cities so we can harbor the worst illegal aliens, I think, how could you be fundamentally a foundational black American where we have receipts of what we did to build this country, and we're going to just let people walk in and shit all over us and take out tax dollars in our areas and put some of the worst criminals right next door to our mothers and our fathers and our children in our classrooms, taking over and paying all those tax dollars that we have to almost die to get, you know, and they're just giving it out freely. How can anybody beat for that? You know, I'm saying, and that's, you know, like I said, I mean, it's some real policy issues. Like I said, I voted for Democrats for most of my life. I voted for Hillary Clinton, and now when I think back, I can't believe I did.
All right, Nikki, you want to add to the conversation?
Yes, I've listened to both sides, and I really think that you're taking one or two situations and applying it to everyone as a whole.
Okay.
As far as like the illegal aliens, when everybody talking about criminals, I don't care what the criminal is. I don't care if they're a legal immigrant, if they're a legal immigrant, black, white. One of the worst criminals I know is my brother. And he looked like me. And every crime that he did commit, he definitely deserved whatever the judge gave him. And so when we talk about crime, there are just certain issues in life, like life and death, that you don't apply to a political party. It's called being a human being. But there are certain issues. There are conservative Democrats. One of my best friends is a conservative Democrat here in Louisiana. She's one of our state senators. Look her up. Her name is Katrina Jackson, and she's married now. Andrews, Katrina Jackson Andrews. And she's one of the few Democrats that actually opposed abortion. And she's a female Democrat. So we have to be careful when we assign certain, when we put I think they call it, what's the term we call it that we get offended of? Help me out.
Selective outrage.
Stereotyping. Okay. Let me stop acting like I'm in the class. But we have to stop stereotyping the race, and we have to do what's best for our household. I have a son that's on the autism spectrum. We rely heavily on the Medicaid system. And because of his circumstances, he does qualify for Medicaid. So I can't stand when I see the majority of them are white and the majority of them are Republicans. Yeah, get out and work for it. Get out. Baby, I work. My husband work. We all work in this household. But in reality, that benefit is there for him because the insurance cost was overridden. We would be broke trying to pay for different types of therapies and things, and it's available to him. That doesn't mean that we don't work. We pay our taxes, we pay our share too. But those are those stereotypes that have become attached to our race. I'm here in Louisiana. We're in the trenches, baby. And that so-called gerrymandering map that took out that second Democratic seat, you should go look at that map. You mean to tell me the largest metro area between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, you would actually lump all of them? They account for the majority of our population. Are you going to lump all of them into one district when the other map actually drew in other areas and split those two cities? Because they are large enough to be split into two different districts.
And
those are the type of games. And then Jay Morris calls one of the Democratic Party a boy. A boy. Now this is 2026. In 1992, it was 91. I experienced my coach, my own basketball coach. I'm out there sweating and all that. She called me a nigga. Okay. My husband served on the Monroe school board. One of his former school board members forgot, and she's a Republican, forgot to hang the phone up, and guess what word she dropped? Another N word. So it is, and this is like in 2015, 2016. So we're not talking like in that terms. So guess what? All her friends was rallying behind her, you know, and then they were like, oh yeah, they used to. Well, yeah, we shouldn't be using it. And I tell my students that all the time, but I don't like applying details to a race as a whole. Them people don't like you. They don't. You got some good Republicans, but baby, you got some bad Republicans, and it's the same side on Democrats. I've seen backstabbing on the Democrats, but I got to go what actually works for my household. And the Republicans trying to strip everything that works for my household, my aunt in there, my mom in there, they trying to strip everything away from it. over
You
a
know,
few illegal aliens, because I did do counterintelligence in the United States Army. And that is actually called something called psychological operations, where they purposely put out certain propaganda. And you know who fall for it the most? The least educated portion of our country is in the South. And we automatically fall for those things without researching because the blacks in the South rank lower education wise. So it's easy for them to push propaganda down our throat. So it's no surprise in the populated areas like Washington State and those areas where the median income is way up there, where the blacks and the whites, they actually live side by side. So it's no surprise that most of them are Democrats. Hey,
You know,
anybody
you
want to
know,
come in? Come on.
I look at it like this when he
I
talk
do
about
have some
illegals.
pushback, but I wanted you to riff. You know.
Oh, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
Arpain,
No,
go
go
ahead and
ahead.
respond, Arpain, then we get Goldie in.
No, yeah, go ahead, man. No, he can go. I mean,
Okay.
Okay, I look at it like this. When you talk about illegal, I don't care who you are. I'm like her. If you're a criminal, get up out of here. I mean, a serious criminal. We ain't gonna get nobody up out of here for pulling over a parking ticket. And he been working here 25 years, and you're telling me he's a dangerous criminal. Okay. Also, with illegals, I have not met one illegal, not one. And I've been on the earth 53 years, and I have not met one illegal that took a job from me ever. I'm still looking for that Jose, that Gomez or whoever he is that supposed to be taking these jobs, because me here, I live in Iowa now, and there's a bunch of jobs that legals take that gets down here, and I ain't seeing no black people out there picking no corn or picking up no soybean. We ain't going back to those fields. So when people keep talking about all these illegal, they coming in, yeah, let's get the ones out, but there's a way to do it, because Obama got more out than Trump, and he did it with respect in the right way and kept people in here that's working. So I don't get with that. Okay. And then when you talking about with Republicans or you talking about Democrats, I look at it like this. What are you offering better than what the Democrats got, what we got right now? Because there's no other representative that's representing the black people like the Democrats are. Okay. You might talk about what we've been doing for the last 60 years, but we've been slowly like us making our progress. And now in the last 25 years, we have just took off on progress. That's why you see a lot of Republicans want to jump in there now and try to stop it. They need to slow down this leak. Okay, so when they keep talking about these illegals are doing this, that's fear mongering, what the Republicans used to do to us back in the 80s when they said black people are invading your neighborhood. We're getting too educated for that.
Well,
So go ahead, Arpain. You want me to go first, or you want to go?
yeah, you could go. I mean, I'm hearing a lot.
No, I
of
want you to go first because I got a question after this for everybody. So we're gonna go.
No,
move
my
into
whole
something
thing
else.
is, first of all, there's a lot of conservative Republicans who use Medicare and Medicaid, right? So this whole notion that they're trying to get rid of it, I'd like to see the data that says that. I know they're trying to keep it out of the hands of illegal aliens. And for the people who try to minimize the millions of people sucking on the tit of America by using this false equivalency that somebody from a foreign country who shouldn't even be here in the first place, should have the same rights as somebody who's an American citizen. And it's the most bizarre thing. It's like it doesn't mean anything to be an American, and it means everything to be American. For us, and like I said, so many black people can't see themselves past the color of their skin. What's good for America is good for us, and we keep forgetting that. And so the policies that are being the pervasive policies, especially today, from the Democrats is socialism. It's taking money from the rich and redistributing the wealth across. Guess what? When the rich leave, guess who they're going to tax? Guess who's got to pay for socialism? It only works when they can steal money from somebody else. Look at what that crazy ass woman is doing in Seattle. Look at what the communist Mondami is doing in New York. Look what that dreadful Negro in Chicago is doing when he
Balance the
backstabbed
budget?
all the people.
Yeah, exactly. $12 billion balance
when
budget.
When he backstabbed all of those people who voted for him and put thousands and thousands of illegal aliens in their area and told them to go pound salt. He even got the most radical leftist black women to say, you know what, we're flipping this place red. You know, it's not me talking, it's the Chicago people talking. And Chicago is one of the most lawless cities in the inner city than anywhere when it shouldn't be. Every single weekend. You know, so I'll just land it there. Go ahead, BMU. I mean, I think we should think differently than just being usurped by one party at 90%. And the women I can understand, right? Because I believe a lot of black women have it in that necessary. They need people to affirm them all the goddamn time. I think the worst thing is for black men who can push these liberal policies of gender affirming care, you know, chicks with dicks in women's bathrooms, and all of these kind of crazy open borders, you know, no cashless bail, all of these kind of things I can't get with. And I don't even want to talk about the baby deletion thing, and that's bigger than any party. That's self-destruction of the black race by the millions. You know, so I mean, come on. I mean, just being a conservative, hell with being a Republican. How can you just not be conservative? But go ahead, BMU.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said enough.
No. This is my question. So Dame, you could go first. If Black Americans have voted overwhelmingly Democrat for decades, why are many Black communities still struggling with crime, poor schools, poverty, and low wealth ownership? So, Dame, you can start and then we'll go around the room.
I can honestly, great question. The reason why we still is because for every step that a Democratic policy puts us forward, there's a Republican Party policy ready to knock us back down. That's generally the way it was. That's the ebb and flow.
Can we give an example of that, though, Dame?
A perfect example, affirmative action. Affirmative action, it highlighted and gave access to people of color, not just Black, and not just, it gives it to women as well, access and to considerations with jobs, school, things like that, access. And it was actually some national funding that were under the affirmative action banner. What happened was when you take that away, you take away that access to jobs, to school, to educational funding, and things like that. So yeah, it makes us less healthy. It makes us less educated. It makes us less safe.
And you said the Republicans did it, or who
Yes.
hijacked it? The white women hijacked the affirmative action. And it was the Chinese in court that destroyed it by winning that battle because they weren't let the Chinese in because of affirmative action. Right?
Well,
so there was, remember that big court case where Chinese guys win because they were being discriminated against?
Well, that was at one school. That was at Harvard. That was
it's a national thing. It sets precedents across the country.
Yeah, but basically what I'm saying is,
I hear you we agree on affirmative action. Now,
I want to ask you a question.
Was good. The idea of it was good.
Let me finish. There was a second part to this
Okay,
question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
The low wealth ownership. The reason that there's such low wealth ownership is this goes back to redlining back in the day. This goes back to we never had the opportunity to build the wealth in the first place, to pass it down generationally. We are just now having the opportunity to build this independent wealth that a lot of the white community have been enjoying since World War II. You know, that was when the GI Bills and the loans for veterans and stuff that came out that Black people couldn't qualify for just on the basic color of their skin. So they never got to buy the land, to build the house, to let it gain equity, to pass it to their kids, to let it gain equity, for the kids to sell it off and start their lives with any type of generational wealth. That's what happened. So anytime that those were the majority of those policies, the redlining and all those Jim Crow and things like that were
the Democrats started Jim Crow.
Well, no, what's called it? No, Jim didn't stop.
Jim Crow did not start Jim Crow. That was Republicans that started Jim Crow. That was Dixiecrats, put it like that.
They were Democrats.
All right. They was Republican. Democrats turned over to Republicans. Let's get it right.
That's the same old trope bullshit. They were Democrats.
No, it's not, because you got to get that stipulated. That's what I don't like about Black MAGAs or people of the Republican Party.
Hold on just a second. I fact checked it. I got it here. And I'm gonna put it up on the screen because I don't want people to say that I'm bull jiving. So I'm put it up on the screen. I was fact checking while you guys were discussing that. And I'm gonna pull it up here because I think the best information is the information that we all can see. So let me go here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right. So Jim Crow laws were primarily created and enforced by the Southern Democrats after the Civil War and during the 1800s and the mid 1900s. Historically, after Reconstruction ended in 1877, many Southern states were controlled by the Democratic Party. Those states' government passed segregation laws enforcing separate schools, separate transportation, voting restrictions, bans on interracial marriage, and other racial segregation policies. These became known as Jim Crow laws. All right, we can continue the conversation. Go ahead.
Okay.
And just like I said, these Democrats was Dixiecrats that became Republicans to this day, and they all switched their parties when the bill got signed for the Voting Act rights.
Yep.
They all switched parties, and they took their party with them because that's why they voted so overwhelmingly.
When was the Voting Rights Act signed? In 1965. So they spent all of that time being Democrats up until the Voting Rights Act. So you see my point.
So
Democrats.
So what I like, and like I said again, when the Republican Party, when the Democrats switched over to them Dixiecrats switched over, the racist ones from the Southern that's still trying to do now, they took all that party with them because they got mad, and the whole South returned to Republicans under the Civil Rights Bill Act. They didn't like it. So let's get straight with it.
You have to remember where the Mason-Dixon borderline is at. Like the Mason-Dixon line actually cut
and you can fact check that.
I just fact checked it. I just fact checked it again. I'm gonna say this. Hold on just a second, Arpain. I want to make sure we fact check this stuff because I don't want anybody to think that we're projecting lies here. So what it says is did the Democrats switch parties, right? The Dixiecrats switch parties to become Republicans during or after the Civil Rights Movement or during Jim Crow. And I'm gonna put it up on the screen and let you see what it says. It says, because we're gonna fact check tonight, okay? It says here, the answer is no. It says there was not a literal movement from Democrats and Republicans switch names or formally traded parties during Jim Crow. What historians usually mean by the party switch or political realignment is this. Over many decades, especially from 1930 to 1970, the ideologies and voter base shifted. Conservative Southern white voters who have been long-term Democrats gradually moved toward the Republican Party. So there we go.
Thank you. To the Civil Rights Act from 1960 to 1970, like I said.
They were already doing it. That just kind of solidified it.
After the Reconstruction period, you saw them, especially where the Mason-Dixon line is drawn, you saw quite a few of them during the Reconstruction period where a lot of them moved up north. And they started to rebel because they didn't have a choice but to go. It's like people come in and take your land. There's a big gap in the history that we talk about now, just like the lost history of Afro Town. What is that town called over in Mobile? My Alabama folks, I don't know if anybody on here, just like that lost history there. A lot of this history is being unfolded. And for the record, I actually went to a federal court where my husband had to testify in 2018, where they were still reviewing desegregation orders in the school systems here in my city. So that explains a lot. And what we discovered is not even the same, although certain schools were in the same city, they offered different curriculums. In the Black schools, were not afforded the opportunity for courses like dual enrollment and AP. However, the white schools had dual enrollment, AP, honors classes. The Black kids aren't screened for gifted and talented. I'm in the school system right now where I'm fighting. I work in a school where we have 0 kids that are actually listed as gifted and talented, but they qualified. However, The pupil appraisal person was a white lady, and she didn't even take the time to review their test data. So we're still fighting this systemic racism right now today.
Right.
I'm living in it. So it's not like that this is something I don't think we in somewhere we have this fairy tale where we are still on equal ground. We're not still on equal ground. My mom had me in 1974. She was forced to drop out of high school, because they didn't even allow pregnant girls to come to school, which is one of the reasons why a lot of our parents didn't even get the education she had. By the way, she did get her college degree at the age of 64. So we are still trying to catch ground. I don't know where we get this thing where we got this big gap and we done had enough time. No, we're just not unfolding into that. We're still fighting this right now today. The difference between North Side and South Side schools in certain cities. We all know that they take a lot of our funding. When Bush came out with the No Child Left Behind Act, he basically penalized the schools for being poor. When he bought in the grades, that started to strip the schools. So they started to take the money out and bought in school choice. And we started losing our children who were actually very gifted to other schools because they were convinced. I work in a school, like I said before, anytime we have a gifted kid, it's like someone from central office will be like, hey, you should take them to J.S. Clark Magnet School. And we have some parents that actually fall for it. And they pull their kids after we get them to about the 4th or 5th grade. We've had them there since pre-K. We work with them. We got them qualified for gifted and talented. Boom. Go to the magnet school.
Hey, I want to jump on.
Are you saying that a gifted kid needs to be stuck in some location because he's hurting the other kids and he's not, and that he or her is not entitled to a better education based on their gifts?
No, what I'm saying is what we offer obviously help that gift to unfold. So no, I don't feel like they should be. I can get taken out of my school.
We got kids who could excel, but they shouldn't have a choice to go somewhere where their gifts pour water in. They should be in the classrooms with everybody else who can't stay on their level. I mean, gifted kids should be able to go where gifted kids go.
They actually have what's called an individualized education plan. So let me educate you a little bit.
Let me finish.
You actually have what's called the IEP. Now listen at me well.
You made a statement, and you should let me go ahead.
Okay, so can I retort it? Can I talk?
Finish. You talking over.
You're talking about what you hear, but I'm talking about what I do for a living. What I'm saying is, did I mention that I was a coach? Okay. And so the same thing that you're saying, that's the same thing the white folks tried to tell them. And guess what? They stayed in the school system. When you get tested as gifted, you get something what's called an individualized education plan. It's called an IEP. Your curriculum actually changes and you're actually grouped. And you actually have a one-on-one tutor that comes in and sit with you as a gifted student. And they give you the attention that you need. When I was at Richwood High School, and you could go check my Facebook account, I have one that just got her white coat the other day. We were back here in the trenches where the median income level is probably about 16 to 17,000. 90% of the kids is Section 8. 90% of the kids free or reduced meal. And out of that group of girls that I coached, 10 of them, out of the 15, 10 of them have college degrees. I have an RN, I have a veterinarian, I have a chiropractor, I have 2 nurse practitioners, and one just received her white coat to be a chiropractor. The other 4 went into the military. One is now about to get her sergeant major, and one is a warrant officer now. And that's out of one group of girls. And I claim that group because I was there with them from the middle school. I was doing 7 through 12. And that was the group that I stayed with all the way to the 12th grade. It was my first group of pilot girls. We didn't have a large basketball or track team. But every last one of them went to college. And I'm so glad that they stayed. And their parents trusted people like me that got it out the mud, who know what it takes to beat and defeat what it's like. White water, just because the white folks put ice in their water, don't mean it's colder than ours. Lady Matt.
I know you think you said something. I'm proud of your accomplishments, but the fact that you're going to say any policy that disallows a person who's gifted to go where they can both benefit, whether they stay in the school or not, any policy that prohibits them from going is a bad policy. That's all I'm saying. So if it's a charter school, just because it might take the most gifted out of a local public high school or grammar school, doesn't make the charter school bad.
It does because it takes money from us.
Let me finish.
When you sit down, hey, Brian, when you I'll bring you up, Brian, in just a second. When you get settled,
ahead, man, I'm done. Man. So these policies are just, and let's just talk about wealth again. And I think that one of the things I think is each one teach one, right? Generational, we'll never catch up to the generational advantage that white people have, and we need to stop doing that. I think we need to stop beating ourselves up. We need to start where we're at to build the generational wealth that we're talking about. And I think we misuse generational wealth. We just need to do better every generation so the kids that come behind us have the benefits of our knowledge going forward. And it's never going to be equality of outcomes across the racial line. Some of us are better with money than others. Some of us know how to teach investing than others. So very few people, we have a dearth of Black Americans who invest in the stock market other than maybe their 401k plans. So we need to understand the difference between Main Street and Wall Street. And I think we need to be able to teach our kids that. And some people just do better than others. That's just the way it is. And so are they going to ever catch up to the 10th generational white person who's been able to stack their bread and property? No, but we can start where we are. And that's what we need to do. That's just my point on that one.
I just want to say something real quick. We got to kind of decide what conversation we're having. Are we having a conversation on the facts of the matter or how you feel? Because I'm never going to try to convince somebody to feel a different way to feel. If you don't like homosexuals, I ain't going to convince you to. If you think abortion is wrong, I ain't going to try to convince you to. If you think women should be shouldn't lead men, I'm not trying to convince you to, because that's who you are. But if we just want to talk about the prompt is, who have we done better under? Statistically, have we been healthier as a people under Democrats or Republicans? Always the answer is going to be Democrats. ACA.
No, I disagree with that.
Oh, second, let me finish. ACA has, like I said, we can go back if you want to, but let's keep it contemporary. ACA has had more Black people with medical health care than in the history of any other time in the United States. Outside of I'm talking modern history. Then are we wealthier? Unemployment statistically is for Black people is just better under Democrats than it ever been under Republicans. And that's just a fact. You can Google that as much as you want. Are we smarter? College enrollments, funding for college, things like that, grants and access for Black people to higher education has always been higher under Democrats. And it's just those are the things that you measure, or something is one government better than the other, and it just takes simple Google searches, devoid of any emotional bias, to show that as a people, Black people fare better under modern democratic governments. That's just the way it is. But like I said, if you want to make this an emotional conversation about how you feel, or if you're religious and it don't jive with what the Bible teach you or whatever like that, then you're going to think what you're going to think. But if you want to deal the fact of the matter, it is what it is.
Well, first of all, I disagree that on your basic premise, and we should look up some of that, because it depends on the administration. Now, have conservatives hurt Black folks? Yeah, but over the 60 years that we've been giving our votes for the Democrats, our family structure is destroyed. That's not emotionalism. That's just fact. And we got a bifurcation in the Black community, which is fact. We got people who can conjugate a verb and pay for their mortgage and all that kind of stuff. And they think that's the new Black community. But it's the people that's left behind that live in lives of quiet desperation in all those sanctuary blue state cities, right? It's not a whole bunch of, and maybe there are some places where the white kids are doing this, but there's not a whole bunch of roving teens going crazy like the Lord of the Flies, in the white communities. It's all of these. I mean, it's just crazy. Now, I'm not.
I got to. I just have one question. One question.
You
One
said what
question.
you had to say.
Wait, let me just one question. Are
Yeah, go
black
ahead.
people poorer in blue states or red states?
No. It's the behavior in all states. And the black communities have a trouble that you could stretch across the whole United States. That's the one thing on the lower level. The bifurcation of the black community is a fact. We got people looking at one level and forgetting about the people they leave behind. That's why when most black people get any kind of money, the first thing they want to do is move away from other black people. So I'm just trying to tell you, we could put all these things that the Democrats are doing. The only thing is that they take black folks' votes for granted. That's a fact. And then we can't expect the Republicans to do a whole bunch, conservatives to do a whole bunch for blacks when we don't vote for them. So we're disenfranchised on both ends, so I think that we should be independent thinkers, whether a person's skin is black or not. What's your policy? Being against chicks with dicks is not an emotional thing. I'm against that in female because I believe in Title IX because I remember how hard women fought for that. I'm old enough to remember that.
The Democrat got that.
Women benefited big time from Title IX. And we're trying to take that away. Women are losing scholarships. Women are losing championships. That's not emotionalism. It's just fact. So anyway, but go ahead.
Let me ask this next question real quick. Goldie, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna ask this question, and you can say what you have to say, but I won't put this question up here. Beans, welcome to the show tonight, my brother. I see Nikki came back. Okay, Beans, welcome to the show, man. I want to bring up this question right here. For anyone that wants to answer, but we'll start with you first, Goldie. Can Democrats point to policies that created black ownership and generational wealth, not just assistant programs?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Goldie. Give us those policies.
You could point to the CDFI policies that gave back and the state small business credit.
Welcome to the show, Brian. My bad. I'm sorry.
All those gave black people, all black businesses, a chance to increase their business or grow their business or start their businesses under those policies that was created by Democrats, which later on Republicans stopped. So when you ask that question, I just gave you something like that. Can you give me anything that the Republicans have gave to black people?
Well, at the beginning of the show, what did I say? I said I don't want to talk about what about isms. I want you to tell me what have the Democrats actually done for black people. That's the name of the show.
The American Rescue Plan and the state small business credit. The American Rescue Plan and the state small business credit. And also you have the CDFI. Do you know what those are? You would know that they created over 100 million jobs for black people. I mean, business for black people to start up their grants. I mean, can you say what they have not done for for black people in the community?
Now, I'm gonna get into this conversation after everybody else speaks because I want to make sure everybody else gets in. But you answered, so I'm gonna move to Brian here. Right, that's your name, Brian. I'm gonna ask you. Welcome to the show, my brother. Can Democrats point to policies that create black ownership and generational wealth, not just assistant programs?
Well, I won't say like something that created generational wealth that I know offhand, but like definitely helped black people in their financial situations was the Affordable Care Act, which lowered the amount of uninsured black people by half, which is one of our number one expenses is medical debt. So I would point to that, which is what and I like I said, that's one of my main things because I'm like, okay, what is our biggest debts in the black community in this healthcare? So I felt like that addressed it, and we had a lot of things in regards to, and I feel like that would to kind of come around to answer your question about generational wealth. I feel like things like that about healthcare and medical debt and having less medical debt, where before that we had situations where our things that we had secondary illnesses and stuff like that would hinder us from getting insurances. That pre-existing condition clause that's in there totally helped us a lot. which also, like I said, can in some ways create generational wealth, or definitely help us in our income and get out of certain debt or whatever. So that's my thing. Just coming in the conversation, just off the top of my head.
All
Can I
right.
just address the meat of the question real quick? Number one, there isn't any policy that will create generational wealth. Generational wealth is created over generations.
I can't hear.
So there's no policy that one policy can say, okay, boom, now all your grandkids gonna be good, be wealthy too. That doesn't exist. There's nothing that's done for white, black, or any other races that has created in itself generational wealth. All programs, like I said, the GI Bill or any of the like home buying programs that white GIs got after leaving World War II is what started the ball rolling to generational wealth. They bought the land, they built the house, it got equity, they passed it to their kids, it got equity, they sold it, bought bigger houses in other places that got more equity. That's how it was. There's no to expect one particular policy to create wealth long term is just not realistic.
And just to add more to that, like the points you brought up about the housing stuff, I got to look more into it. I don't want to kind of say that some head, but oh, somebody hear me? Can
No,
everybody
go ahead. He can't hear. He'll go out and come back in.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there was, I forgot what it was, but I'm pretty sure during Obama's administration, there was something he created where he was looking into like home ownership and the discrimination in the housing industry. But I wish I knew off the top of my head that he addressed, but I gotta look it up. As
Okay.
far as addressing housing discrimination, I gotta look it up. But yeah, sorry.
So we'll move to Beans. When you're ready, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. But so Nikki, we'll go to you. Can you point to a policy that created Black ownership and generational wealth, not just assistance programs?
Okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off of that policy. Well, one of the things that he was speaking on about I actually participated in it, and it was the first time home buyers tax credit. He offered record-breaking tax credits, and I was able to get a home. They actually lowered the credit rating because they had the houses crisis. They actually lowered I was a single person. I wasn't married then. I wasn't first lady then. So I was able to get that loan to purchase it, which eventually I had to turn it over to my mom because I later got married and had to move away. But now we have that generational wealth here that's one thing that we would have to pass on to the children. The home is almost paid for now. It's been 20 years. It's like maybe 5 years left. But at the end of the day, it was that tax credit and a couple of other things that was in place at that time. And this was around 2007. No, 2000. What's that? 2008.
Probably 9. If it was after
it was like 2008, because that's when I actually closed on the home. I closed on the home before I got married. So it was definitely 2008. And I closed on the home. And that created an opportunity for me. Was kind of young, didn't have just like the best. I came out of divorce, so didn't have like the best credit rating, but it was one of those programs that he really pushed. And hey, that following year, that money came into play, and I was able to purchase things for the home. We were able to finish things for the home. I think it was like 10 grand or something like that. But those are one of the things that I did benefit from. And we also saw an increase as soldiers. We saw increases in the loan repayment programs. At one point, the loan repayment programs was like strictly for certain soldiers or certain ones that re-enlisted in a lot of National Guard and reservists. They didn't get to qualify. But he expanded those programs, and soldiers, and not only the soldiers, they also made sure that the GI Bill could be rotated over to family members. The unused GI Bills were able to be rotated to family members who didn't serve. So all of those policies came into play around that time.
All right. So we'll move to Goldie. I think he got a chance to answer already. Our Payne. Oh no, Beans. So can you tell me, Beans, if you can, and welcome to the show tonight, what policies created Black ownership and generational wealth, not just assistance programs, but ownership and wealth?
No, I can't. I don't have the answer to that.
Yep.
But I do have some questions, if that's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can I use my time? So I got a question, and I want to ask it specifically. Forgive me, I'm getting old, so I'm blanking on names right now. I'm so sorry, bro.
Let me pull this down so you can see. Hold on. About pause.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I do. Okay, so my man Dane. My bad, bro. It is not, I swear, I'm just getting old, bro. It ain't nothing personal. Let's say that you made $90,000 a year and your wife made $60,000 a year. And then I created a policy that made it to where you made $300,000 a year and she made $200,000 a year. But the but behind that is that y'all had to be divorced, kids had to be raised in separate households, different neighborhoods. Y'all was gonna hate each other, right? All that kind of shit. Would you say that policy benefited you?
No, not at all.
I think that's the real issue, right? When we're talking about this specifically as it pertains to Democrats. It's like, if you do something that I can show you and say, like the other brother mentioned that there may have been some grants and things that may have been given, right, to a few hundred Black people, right? When it's 42 million Black people. When we talk about Black people, we're talking about a demographic. And when we're talking about something that is benefiting or progressive for them, right? At a minimum, I would give you 40%. Even though that's not even the majority. But if you said, man, we did this and it benefited and helped 40% of Black people progress, I'd be like, man, that is amazing, right? But with all of the economic progressions that we have seen from Black men and more specifically Black women, what has it cost us? What do we have to give up for that? And I think that's the real issue that people have nowadays with supporting the Democratic Party, is because the veil has come off. Nobody is just accepting, oh, you Democrat, we vote for you habitually. It's muscle memory to just go vote for you. It's a lot. When I say nobody, that was overstatement, but it's a lot more people now that are listening to the actual politics. They're listening for the policies, and they're not seeing anything from either side really that says, oh, we're going to take you from a second class status as a demographic to you right up here with everybody else. No more will you be you're at the bottom of society jokes and all of that shit. No, we're not seeing it from either party, but that includes the Democratic Party. So my question would be kind of, do you understand that, and what would your response be?
Mine would be this. It's just like, did you see that Chappelle Show episode when they got the reparation checks and then they were like, click, you know, I'm like, they were like buying Cadillacs and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's some, it's funny as that is, and how it's stereotypical it is, it's some truth to that. The reason why they say, okay, we're going to have these programs and it's only going to be available to a certain amount of people is there's some trial and error. They got to make sure that the thing works before they spend all this resources expanding it throughout, even broaden the scope of it. So that's what they did. They said, okay, we got $40 million or $100 million that we're going to provide these things like that. If it works, if it's justifiable in the budget and we see it really benefiting the community, then they can say that worked. Not only let's double this year, that really worked. Let's triple it. Let's add $1 billion to it. And what can happen is if you see it working consistently, politicians can come and vote on that. Be like, you know, that thing that y'all got that bought all y'all Black people houses. I'm first day in office, I'm gonna triple that, and it's gonna be $1 billion for you. Everybody gonna get houses. They can't necessarily just run in there and just give people a bunch of money because it's gonna go bad. Because historically, unfortunately, we haven't known how to manage money effectively. There's still some learning curve when it comes to managing certain things effectively in the Black community. That's why I'm okay with them doing it for a small and then building it up.
I'm
So
like
first
you.
of
I
all,
agree with you.
first of
I'm like,
all, I know you don't mean it, but I take offense to you saying that we never learned it, right? Because we did. I reacted to a video earlier today with a dude, BMU. Remember, I was telling you about this. I reacted to the video earlier with a dude listed like 17 different spots where Black Americans had set up shop
Absolutely.
after 1865, right? And that these places was taken from them in some form or another, whether they was burned down or just moved or flooded or had highways built through them, right? So it's not that, it's that we have been severely traumatized by trying to make economical leaps in this country that I think a lot of people are afraid to do it. And not only that, we have been convinced not to be able to trust each other based on the behavior that we see and also part of the programming, if I'm just being honest,
I
that
don't
we
think that.
don't get together and build in like really big conglomerates. You might see a few people do it. I know you probably heard about them families down in Atlanta that got together and bought them 97 acres, right? And I think now they probably up to a more than 100, something in 100 and something acres, right? But that's been 5 years and they ain't even broke ground. Right. Meanwhile, them white people that started the whites only town in Arkansas, which they founded in 2023, they already up and running.
And
Right. So
and
it's
they bankrupt
always some
right now.
issues that
And
kind of prevent us.
they rush, and then now them white people, as you talking about, that built that place in Arkansas, filed up for bankruptcy, and they on Cash App asking for people to give all their money. But you're not talking about the community like someone like Ti built, and up and got it up and running. That he helping our single black mothers and things like that. And when you speak about how like black people, we got these programs, it didn't build generational wealth. You go down like 30, 40%. No, it was more like 40, 50, 60% of these black helped out the black community. And when you helped out that
Help them out
60%
how? You need to be specific.
with either education, buying a home, like the programs you just said we named off, that we now you talking about need Pacific. Like you just said, we named them all off. I'm going back to them, saying that when them programs are used for 40 to 60% of the population, we got them when we used them, and it benefits 40 to 60% of the population. That 40 to 60% of the population now can turn around and build up more generation for their kids. That's how generational wealth start. White people did not start getting generational wealth just like that. They build it up over the years.
Respectfully,
So also,
respectfully.
hold on. Let me get finished off. And when you said
Well,
that
you do
black people
remember you
now,
cut me off, but go ahead.
okay, I'll let you go ahead since you said cooker.
Yeah, I thought we was. Yeah, I'm just saying we interjecting, right? So here's the thing. One, you mentioned Ti. That's problematic, right? And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that baby mamas don't need help, but fuck that. I'm not building a community for baby mamas, right?
But
That's
when you
part
build
of the
put for baby
problem.
mamas, you build up the strong son. You build up a strong son. When you got
But you
a
don't.
good but my son, yes you do.
But you
Because
don't.
just
That's
because
the
the
point. That's
father,
what I'm
just
saying.
because the father, we're not gonna get it just because the father's not married to the woman that the father's not in the household situation. That
Right.
I
That
could just prove
matters.
that real quick. No, because I'm not in the household with my daughters, and I'm raising up two beautiful daughters. Okay,
Right.
I'm
But
saying
they're
two
girls.
beautiful black daughters. Okay, and I know black men
Right.
that's
But
not
they're
in the
girls.
household that raised up beautiful, strong black men, and their
Sir, one
fathers are
second.
not.
No,
One second.
Okay,
impossible.
so
One
and
second.
it yes,
One second.
the statistics already show. We're not working on
No, sir.
feelings here. We're working on facts, and
I know.
facts are
So that's.
shown that this.
I know.
So
Okay.
facts
Absolutely.
are
But
shown.
sir.
So facts
Right.
are
But
showing
sir.
that we are black fathers have succeeded raising up black men. Okay, that's
Right.
not in the home. Okay,
Sir,
hold
here's
on.
the
Let
thing.
me go up.
Here's the thing.
Go
Here's the
ahead.
thing, sir. Here's the thing. One, you can't give off 9,000 pieces of information and expect us to respond to them, right? So this is
I
what I'm
gave him
saying.
one.
You didn't. Let me show you exactly what you did. First, you mentioned Ti buying those houses for the women, right? And then the second thing you mentioned was policies that was put in place to help black people buy homes and go to school. And you said that affected 40 to 60% of the population. What I'm saying is those are three definite statements that you're making, right? Of things that happen. Now I'm accepting the premise with that Ti built some sort of community for these baby mamas.
That goes
But
off
how
the
many
problem. You
houses?
said that white people
Well, you
not
have to
white
let
people
me
building
finish. If you're
something,
not
and
letting
then
me finish, that means
Let
you're
him
not
finish, Goldie. Let
listening
him
to me,
finish. Then
right?
you can respond. Let him
That's
finish,
what
and
I'm
then you
saying. If
respond.
you're not letting me finish, that means you're actually not listening to me to understand. And I swear to God, I'm done talking to people who ain't listening to understand. So if that's what we doing, I could just stop talking to you. I go back talking to my man Dane. So I'm gonna try it one more time. right? So now it matters how many people you're saying he bought these houses for. But then you made the statement and said, no, that's good because you know what those houses benefit, that benefits the boys, right? You said they raise up strong boys, but then you use the example of you raising girls, right? So that doesn't matter. I don't care how well you're doing with your daughters. You said those single mother homes are doing a good job of raising the boys, right? But that's not what the data says. You saying you don't care about feelings, but the data says these little niggas can't read. Right? That's what the data says, right? So, and then the second part you talked about when you said 40 to 60% of these buying houses and shit, bro, why would we even need those policies? Why should, as a black person in America, I need a policy to be able to go buy a home? I shouldn't even need
Because
that.
white people put a policy in effect for us not to get it by redlining us, so we had to put policies in effect for us to get the homes.
Absolutely.
See, that's what. So hold on.
Wait, you're missing the point. You're saying they put the policy in place in order for you to be able to do it, but you just acknowledged that it shouldn't have been an inhibitor in the first place.
But who put the policies in effect to stop us from getting those homes, for us to
The
make
same
this
people who put the
generational
policies in
wealth?
place for you to get them. They're called politicians.
Okay, so if we got these, now we got the, hold on, you asked me what the Democratic Party did for black people to benefit them. When I give them to you what the Democratic Party did for black people to benefit them, what you turn around and say is, well, politicians put these things into effect. That's why they're not working. Okay, but we just showed you when they work.
You see what I'm saying? That's not what I said. The sister was raising her hand. So let's do this respectfully. Let's go to the sister. But I'll throw a question to you.
I want to ask you a question after her, Mr. Beans.
Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
good.
I ain't even gonna ask the question. Just
go ahead.
I'm sorry, DM. You ain't trying to take over your show.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
That's a damn lie.
The Fair Housing Act would have not needed to come into play if we were on equal grounds. But we know for a fact that people were discriminated on. I still remember being a little girl and my mom was trying to rent a condo, her and my stepdad. And on the phone, the condo was available. But when they got there and they saw what color they are to look at the condo, they came back with some excuse like, oh, it was already rented. We were already being discriminated. It was on the privileged side of town. So if everything was even ground, and then we know if we're in the South, you guys know we're about 15 years behind. So a lot of things that we're discussing, if we was up north, a lot of wealth and a lot of access to things, the schools in the northern cities, like in the Seattle area, a lot of the schools, black schools, white schools, they have the same access to equal education. And please don't be a data rat. All right. Don't be a data rat and just look at numbers and then automatically say, oh, they can't read. I'm going to give you a perfect example about reading. Okay. Louisiana has a system called the DIBELS test. Okay. So the DIBELS is this literacy screener that they use now, right? They use this literacy screener and that test. I have a video where my mom and a bunch of us, and we're very fluent readers. But that test is designed where they have something called nonsense words, made up words. But even though we train the kids the whole life and we say, use your words, sound this out, memorize this. But then a portion of that test has something that's called nonsense word, make believe words. And it's one of the parts of the test where our black kids actually do the worst on, because it's almost like a reverse thing. It's like a taboo. And they're getting docked for that. And a lot of them failed that DIBELS test, but a lot of them can pick up a book and they can read it very fluent to you. And they have comprehension. But there's one little test with 5 different sections, 1 minute. My son is a perfect example where he is.
Okay, so you see what I mean right here. You just gave us 3 premises. Right? How we gonna remember to respond to all of them? Do you see what I'm saying? Y'all have to learn how to stop at some point.
Okay, so you want me to stop after the Fair Housing Act because y'all kept on going. So I'm just answering everything that you and the other young man were going back and forth on. Y'all were like all over the place.
See, here's the problem.
I'm taking it one by one. 1, Fair Housing Act. 2, don't be a data rat. And that's it in a nutshell. The data does not shows exactly what our black boys, our brown boys and girls know. And that's just all I'm saying.
Okay, so here's the problem, right? You said You came in and you said you talked about the Fair Housing Act, but that was irrelevant. We already had established
about the housing, the laws made to keep them from going.
Like you, if you're just gonna jump in, it means you're not listening to understand. Right? So here we go. I'm gonna try again with you one more time. Ma'am, we already had established before you responded that the brother said we needed it. Because he asked us who put the policies in place that made us need the Fair Housing Act. So we already had established that it was needed. But the point is that it shouldn't have been needed.
You didn't say the name, though. You wasn't specific. And I thought you were looking for specific details.
Which you still didn't give. Right? That's what I'm saying. You told us that we needed the Fair Housing Act, which we had already established that it was needed, right? To repair something that was done. But the fact is, if it wasn't needed, and here's the point about me saying it shouldn't have been needed, right? At the end of the day, if you got a job and you working and you got enough money, you should be able to go get a house. You shouldn't even need a lawmaker to be able to say, well, let's make sure these black people can get a house. You shouldn't even need that. It's just a house. Not to mention the fact that in the country today, I think, I may be wrong about this, I'll look it up when I get through, but I think black people own the least amount of houses out of all the races. I'm gonna look that up to confirm it, but I think that's true.
I'm doing it right now.
Right? So that's why I'm saying, like, these things that y'all naming, my man named some housing complexes that T.I. built for how many women? Let's give them, let's say it was 100, let's say it was 500, but he specifically said it was for single mothers. So now you're basically telling them all the choices and everything you made, that's all good. Don't worry about it, girl. We got you. Keep on screwing these niggas and making babies that ain't neither one of y'all prepared to take care of, and we'll keep housing y'all.
Who said that was the case, though? Why do you guys stereotype and assume? I have 3 young men, their mom is raising them. I have 3 students who lost their father, and she's a single parent. So how would you like it if it was one of your family members who father or whatever passed? We have to stop stereotyping black women. We're the hardest on our own race.
This is exactly why you said you said don't be a data rat, right?
That's right. And so
let's go by that real quick. Right? So here's my question to you. So here's my question to you.
Not to own homes by choice, not because they're not qualified to own house.
So why is it? What percentage of women do you think that who are single mothers? What percentage of them do you think are single mothers because the fathers died?
Well, in my school, in one class, I actually have 5 students out of about 16.
Okay, 16. So that's the percentage you want to go with across the country?
I teach the entire school. I'm a lyrics coach, I'm speaking on one class. Then the majority, a good number. I had this young lady come up to me and say, "Coach, why they trying to be funny talking about a father-daughter dance? They know we don't have our father. Guess where her father was at? In jail. It don't have nothing to do with her mama."
We're gonna bring this back down to a political conversation.
We having a political conversation. Dang, this what I'm saying. You don't even realize that we actually having the political conversation because of the fact. Do you see how she don't want to deal with data? This is Democrats talking. And you don't want us to acknowledge that, but I'm gonna do it right now since you pretending that we're not having the political conversation. This is Democrats talking.
You asked us, okay, why we got politics of a fair action? Why you had to get a fair action act, right?
No, sir. Hold on, Goldie. Because we're not gonna do is let her land on that like she made some kind of point. What I asked her was, what percentage?
Otherwise, you're gonna be running your mouth.
Absolutely. What percentage of women, particularly black women across the country, are single mothers because the father died? That's what I asked her. Did she answer that question, Dane? Yes or no?
Hey,
no, right? Okay. This is a part of the democratic process, Dane.
Do you know how many students I have?
This is a representation of Democrats.
Do you know how many students I have?
No,
I didn't ask you about that. No, I don't.
Do you know how many students I have?
No, I do not know how many students you have.
Okay. Do I have a class roster in front of me?
I didn't ask you about your class. I asked you about America.
Well, you asked me how many students I had who parents died.
I didn't ask you that.
And I could verify with a class roster.
Dang.
And I could
Did I
give
ask
you
her
a
about her
question.
students?
Hold on,
So
Dane. You
like
want to
that,
defend them? Did
you
I
want
ask her about her
God, you
students,
want
Dane?
off the top of your head.
Why you say F50?
Off the top of
Because
your
you the
head.
because you the Democrat whisperer.
Which was smart. First of all, I'm actually independent. That's number one. So there you go. You're gonna get enough
That's
opinion
fine.
with stereotyping people.
Absolutely. Did you vote in the last presidency?
Hey, like I say, you talking
Did
to
you vote in
somebody
the
that lives
last
all over the country. All right, military veteran. Before I was an educator. Let's get it together. All right. I served beside some great people: Republicans, Democrats, Independents, all type of races. Okay, so let's get it.
Have a hard time answering
You ask me for
questions.
some data. You want true data or you want made up data? Because the
asked
true
you
data
for
will come
your
with my
opinion.
information being in front of me.
I
Lady Mac,
literally asked you for your opinion. You won't stop talking. You just want to argue, and this is what Democrats do.
hey, that's because you're used to them women bowing down to you. I'm not
Bowing
that
down
I'm
by
not that
answering a question.
I'm
Dang.
not-
want peace. I want problems always.
Dang. Dang, the Democrats said that I want her to bow down to me just because I want her to answer the question.
The question is 9%. 9%.
You want true data or you want me to make it up?
It's
I just asked you
9%.
for your opinion.
I don't have a student roster in front of me. All right, I have
didn't ask
over
me your
300
student.
I
students.
didn't
So-
ask
so-
you
so-
about your
so-
students, ma'am.
Hold on. So hold on, guys. Hold on just a second. I wanna pull up what you guys said earlier about the fact check from earlier about who owns the least amount of homes. We come last. It says white Americans are 72 to 74% ownership of home, Asian Americans 63 to 65%, Hispanic Americans 49 to 51%, and Black Americans are 44 to 46% home ownership. So we do fall at the bottom of home ownership in the United States.
You're being a
we
data
all know
rat.
that.
You're
Let
being
me
a
just say
data
this one
rat.
thing.
But
Let me say
DMU.
this one thing, JT. I'm gonna show you this one thing. This is why I kind of love being me, right? I swear to God, on my kids, I never looked that up ever before. So how did I know? Oh, it's because I actually think. Right? I don't just be talking. I actually think. I've done enough research that I could think about things and say, well, what's more likely to be true? So when I'm asking the sister Goldie, as you can see, she wants to keep talking to me about her students. But I asked her about Black people in America. Not in a school, in America. What percentage of Black women in America do you think are single mothers because the father died, right?
Kids.
5%.
Whatever she said, I would have went with it. It didn't matter what she said. I would have just went with it, right?
The answer
Because
is 5%.
the point I'm trying to make is
5%.
that
I
if we
thought
can
it
look
was
at
9%.
if we can look at the data and we can see like, oh my God, these boys.
So that's how we got to that point. Don't act like you poked the bear, and then when the bear started going at your butt, then you want to try to twist it and flip it. No, we got in this conversation because you.
Whoa,
man.
whoa. So now you going too far. Hey,
I blame Dame, JT. He getting all the blame.
it's his fault. It's been his fault for 3
bro.
years. It's been his fault for 3
fault.
years.
That's a fact, bro. I'm
So-
sorry,
so-
Goldie. Go ahead, Goldie. I'm sorry.
So Goldie, hold on just a second, Goldie, before you go. Before we get started, because I want to move the conversation. I have another question for everybody. And I think this one is a great question as well. I need an answer for this one. What measurable economic improvements can Democrats claim specifically work for working class Black men? What measurable economic improvements can Democrats claim specifically work for working class Black men? Now, Dane, we can start with you first. No, I'm sorry, Goldie. We'll start with you first, then we'll go around.
You can go with somebody else right now.
Okay, Dane.
See, like this is what I mean. I'm not gonna know the specific policy. I want to say the Inflation Reduction Act that Biden significantly lowered Black unemployment, but there's been other ones before that addressed it. I know Obama had some specific policies to focus Black unemployment, and Black men happen to be a part of Black unemployment, and as well as I think it even started under Clinton. So I can't name specific ones. You give me a time, I can look up and find a specific one that Obama had, but I know the Inflation Reduction Act was one of the ones that Biden put in place to help lower the Black unemployment rate.
But dang, this is
Okay.
my thing though, right? Like when you said it, because I just want to know for I'm sorry.
You said
when you said
I'm
it, I just want to know,
sorry.
like
You said Biden.
Yeah, man, do you not
Well,
see
Hold
me
on.
asking the question?
I asked my man. As my
Okay,
man
go
up there, you said Joe Biden put something in place to reduce black unemployment.
Yeah, basically, one of the part of it was the Inflation Reduction Act. It helped decrease because when he took over, let me see. I think I have the stat here. I knew this was going to come up. I think it was
you talking about
it was 5.3, and he dropped it down to 5.3 when he dropped it down to 4.8.
You talking about racist Joe Biden, right?
I don't care if I'm not saying nothing about racism. I'm talking about. He said, "What was the prompt?" Hold on a second.
You don't care if he's racist.
Hold on a second. What was
you
the
don't
prompt?
care if he's
talking
racist.
about that, bro. We talking about the policy.
Yeah,
we ain't talking about the
racism.
Hey, check this out. Check this out, my G. Hey, my G with the dreads. My G with the dreads. You be quiet because you said some ass ignorant shit earlier. So you just be quiet.
I ain't gonna be quiet.
You just stay out of the conversation.
Stuff.
You just say I wasn't even talking to you. I wasn't even talking to you. I wasn't even talking to you. I wasn't even talking to you because whenever you talking about Democrats, all of a sudden race don't matter. Whenever you talking about Democrats, all of a sudden race don't matter. Whenever you talking about Democrats, all of a sudden
peace. I want problems always.
Whenever you talking about Democrats, all of a sudden race don't matter.
Oh, now we're crying about racist Joe Biden, but we're not crying about racist
Y'all
Trump.
some hypocrites.
Now we're going about racism.
Either racism matters or it doesn't. Racism matters or it doesn't. Either racism matters or it doesn't.
If you can't say this is what Republicans do, they always want to do Hippie Joe or Joe Biden or what Joe Biden did with stuff
Can I get a clear question?
You cannot jump to Joe Biden when Joe Biden when facts get to you, bro.
I got a question. Can I get a question out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does racism matter?
In the context of this question,
ain't no context. Does racism matter?
I hate when y'all don't like
well,
context.
Here we go.
These questions.
I heard somebody bring up redlining. Hold on. I heard somebody a little while ago brought up redlining.
Yep.
Why are you bringing up redlining if racism don't matter?
Because it was a specific question on why black people haven't built the same amount of generational wealth.
Thank you.
Why haven't they? Because of what?
We just told you.
Because of racist policy.
It was a budget thing.
Because of racism, right?
No,
because of racism, right? So I'm gonna ask again. I'm gonna ask the question 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 again.
Yes.
Does racism matter?
Yep.
Yes, man. Yes.
Yeah, we all say race matters.
Why is he talking about Joe Biden like he give a damn about black people?
He wasn't.
He did a lot for black people.
No, he was.
Can you prove that he's a racist? Can you prove he's a racist? Can you prove it? Can you prove it?
Yeah, I can.
Let me answer the question. He asked me a question.
I absolutely can.
Angry man, let me ask you a question. Angry man. The question is this is the question. Down at the bottom right here. What measurable economic improvement can Democrats claim specifically for working class black men? Can you answer that for us, Angry man?
Nothing.
They said the American Rescue Plan.
Democrats haven't done shit for working class black men, and that is a fact.
Black unemployment fell down from 5.3 under Trump to 4.8.
I'm gonna say it again. 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 Democrats have done nothing for working class black men. In fact, one of your favorite Democrats, Bill Clinton's policies disenfranchised a ton of black men. He's the reason. He's the reason.
Black workers grew by 2019.
He is the reason.
Why did he grow up under?
He is the reason. He is the reason.
How long, Goldie? Let him finish.
He is the reason that there was a time where black men were able to get gainful employment straight out of high school because we still had industry here. We still had manufacturing here. We still had a lot of those jobs here. I know this for a fact because I had one of those jobs and I was part of a union. It was Bill Clinton and his bullshit policies that put an end to that.
I want to ask you a
That
question.
caused numerous. Say what?
Policy.
Let me just ask
NAFTA.
you
Why y'all acting like y'all don't know what this is?
Hold a second. When Obama took over in 2009, what was black unemployment rate?
You said what?
When Obama took over in 2009, what was black unemployment rate, and what did he bring it down to?
Hold
on for a second. Before you go there, why would you ask me that question? Why would you ask me that question? Didn't the sister just tell Beans not to be a data rat?
No.
So why are you getting ready to come with some numbers?
Hold on a second.
Okay, then why do more black people lost their jobs in the 70s and 80s under the Reagan administration?
Shit better than you.
Niggas don't read.
Why more black people lost their job on the Reagan administration than any other administration? And also more black factory jobs got caught in the 70s before that. What you want to bring up NAFTA?
Don't want us to do is bring up what the Republicans do. That's what he don't want us to do. So let's not do
He brought it up.
Hold on, but that's irrelevant.
I'm answering his question.
You can bring up Republicans or Democrats. It don't make no difference.
What I was saying was,
it don't make no difference. You can bring up Republicans or Democrats.
When Obama took over, the black unemployment percentage was 16.8%. And when he left, it was 7.3%, which floated still on a downward trend to where Trump was able to end his first term with a 5.3% black unemployment rate. And then the American Rescue Act brought it down even further to 4.8%. So when Obama came into office, when Obama came into office, the country was about 800 billion in debt, and after he left office, it was over 4 trillion.
No, it was not. No, it was not.
Go look it up.
Go look it up.
Go look it up right now.
Look it up right now. Since we put it on fact.
I forgot.
You've been
I forgot I was talking about Black Jesus.
No,
I forgot I was talking about Black Jesus.
Fact check him right now.
What was the statement? I
forgot I was talking about Black Jesus.
All right, I'll tell him. AM said that when Obama walked in, the deficit was 800 billion, and when he left, it was what trillion?
4 trillion.
4 trillion.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. Wait, hold on a second. It couldn't, because we had just came out of a war that George Bush put us in, so we knew it was in the trillions.
This is the fact. When I've been watching Angry Man for a long time, I've been getting on him for a long time. He's been representing the black community for a long time, and he's been playing with data for a long time.
And Bush kept the war.
But he don't think about how the labor market grew for black people.
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. First of all, hold on. First of all, nigga.
No,
I don't misrepresent anything. First of all, I don't misrepresent anything. You talking
every day, Mal.
You're talking to bro. Can I get a word out without this?
When I start pushing data out, you start running your mouth.
I was already talking.
You shut up.
To answer your question, Angry Man, it was $19.3 trillion when he left.
Yeah, my bad. So I had it. My bad. I had it wrong.
Yeah, false data. False data, like I said.
So here's the thing. First of all, nigga, I don't misrepresent anything.
You misrepresent the community.
At all. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
What have I said? Give me one statement I said that misrepresents the black community.
You said Trump was the best thing for the black community that ever happened.
When did I say that?
On your show.
I did not say that on my show.
You did.
I've never said.
Yes, you have. I watched you. I got you on Instagram, bro. You on my page on Instagram. Go look me up. I comment in your comments.
I've never said that statement.
Yes, you did.
I've never said that statement.
Go on my comments and go on your comments. Look at your show for 6 months ago.
I've never said that statement.
Because I want to move the conversation forward. Brian has something he want to say. Then we'll get in here. But Brian, go ahead, Brian. And I got another question for y'all too. Go ahead.
So it says that Obama entered his presidency $1.4 trillion deficit, and he left in 2016 at 585 billion. So I don't know where
No.
this
What
4
the hell?
trillion
No,
19.
no.
Shrunk the deficit, misinformation,
No.
angry man.
So y'all talking
No.
And
about
also, who
Hey,
did it?
check
A
this out.
Democrat
Hey,
too.
hold on.
Okay,
Check this out. Check this out. Check this out, you goofy ass nigga. Just because you go locks
Man,
don't
you
mean
bum ass nigga,
just
shut up.
because you go locks
You
don't
Obama,
mean
you been
you
lying. You tap dance for
Afrocentric, nigga.
Trump. You
Just
tap
because you
dancing
grow
ass
locks
cool.
don't mean you
Shut up, you tap
Afrocentric,
dancing
nigga.
ass cool. You want to be a
Just because
black?
you grow
You
locks
want to be?
don't mean you
Get your tap.
Afrocentric, nigga.
Hey, Trump called you. Go tap dance for him.
Go, I let y'all get it off. So I got the next question because I know this one's gonna bring
Hey, yo,
some.
check this out. Hold on for a second. First of all, I'm forming MOI. Suck my dick, you clown ass nigga. I don't misrepresent black people.
Dude, you been sucking.
I slap them dreads off your head, nigga.
Always.
You been sucking on Trump dick and licking his ass since he came in office.
Don't be talking
sucking on his
crazy to me,
balls
dude.
last week.
Don't be
Hey,
talking
you swing
crazy
from
to me,
head to head
dude.
on his ball.
Don't be talking crazy to me, dude.
You swinging, man. Hey, ain't you the one that pushed that? You try to represent when he put Obama as a monkey. You try to justify it. He put Obama as a monkey, and you justify Trump. You was
Okay.
Nigga, you acting like a monkey right now, nigga.
That's what you doing,
monkey ass
That's what you doing, Trump.
You acting like one right now.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Yeah,
I got the
I
next
can react
question
to
because I
this.
know this is gonna heat up the room too. I got the next question. Trigger Mike is in the building, man. Thank my brother for being here tonight. I appreciate you, my brother.
What's up, Trigger?
I'm gonna ask this question, and then I'm gonna send it to Trigger first, and then we're gonna go around the room. Yeah. All right.
Monkey ass nigga, mad because you felt mad because of something I said, nigga. How long that shit been on your mind, bitch ass nigga?
Hold on, Anger Man. So here we go. Here go the question. The question is, how has the
I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry, my bad.
Nigga, your feelings been hurt, nigga.
Oh, my bad.
Crazy, bro. Y'all ain't gonna show
I got a question.
Has
dependency on government assistance replaced economic independence in some communities?
That's a trick question.
We'll start with you, Trigger.
I want to. Is it safe to talk? I want to.
Yeah. You say. Go ahead.
Yeah, just say small hats. That's all. Just say small hats.
I bet. Can I get a? Can you reiterate the question? Restate the question.
No, it's at the bottom of the screen. Has dependency on government assistance replaced economic independence in some communities?
100% yes. Now you gonna. I guess we can look at that historically, right? But I like looking at things relatively. You know what I mean? We're gonna get up here. We're gonna debate. But we're a capitalist. I guess, we're a mixed economy, but mostly based off of capitalism. And when I look from community to community, it's not really a bootstrap thing like people want to call it because they have so many different ethnic groups that use public assistance. But it's almost like, what are you using it for? Right? You could use it to scam the system. You can use it to elevate yourself, or you can use it and become a dependent. And the part I think that is the most prevalent, where you hurt yourself in your ethnic group and your children's chances and you don't grow wealth, is when you use it as a dependency crutch. That part is very, very damaging, right? Because we've seen now, look, I thought it was fake news. I'm not gonna lie to you. The way these Somalians in Minnesota was getting over on that whole thing. Look, they started daycare centers, didn't even spell learning right.
Careful, you got liberal niggas up here.
Yo,
that don't exist.
They was cracking down on these daycare centers. I was like, this can't be true. They weren't
careful. You misrepresenting the black community. Be careful.
I'm not a Somalian, so that's misrepresenting us.
I'm not Somali either.
Oh no! Now y'all ain't going. So y'all not going to include them in the black diaspora.
Back to the streets with you.
With your brothers and sisters, y'all ain't going to include them in the black diaspora.
Never
They don't include us while we're
not part of the black community.
They
don't include us while we're include us.
I'm a kind of person.
I'm just curious because that was one of the topics. That was one of the topics that I talked about. Was I misrepresenting black people then? When I talked about how it's a shame, they doing all of that shit and they would never let us get away with it. Was I misrepresenting black people then?
A blind squirrel find nuts.
No, fuck up, nigga.
Get your ass out of your buff ass.
Shut up, nigga.
Let me just finish my
Thank you.
monologue real quick. So I will say the dependency, you got to be able to mark that with something. You got to put something to it. And unfortunately, I will say in the black community specifically, the reason why it has turned into a dependency is because even with the help, let's say with education, right now we have, I think it's black boys read at the lowest reading level per capita. Is that true?
No, it's you got black women. They got the black girls is right there with them. If they are higher,
so it's black.
If they are higher, the black girls are not that much far behind them.
So black children read.
Black children. There you go. Black children.
Okay. So yeah. So what I'm saying is like that to me is indicative of
you good.
Right. So we spend the most per pupil in the United States, and yet we have terrible scores like that. Because one of the questions I keep asking on these platforms is look at how these two things is not supposed to be possible to happen at the same time. How can we have the women who are enrolling in school for the highest level of educational attainment at the same time their children are the least, reading deficient in the nation? That shows me that there's something in that chasm that's not really
because they're getting vanity degrees. They're not.
So
look, here's the thing. They're not. It's not like they're getting. It's not like the majority of them are going into STEM programs and stuff. Like that myth that's been perpetuated is not it's not factual. And we keep hurting. Black people keep hurting ourselves when we keep on telling these lies that's not helping us. When brothers bring up the fact that the kids can't read, everybody got a damn excuse and saying, oh, they can read. No, they can't.
They can't read because my students can't read.
Yo, check this out. I heard you talking earlier.
Right? When you come with this context, right? Because here's the true answer to the question that you asked. The reason why is because they don't fucking take their kids to school with them. That's why. Right? That's why the kids read, but the mama can't. They don't go to the same schools.
So
what school y'all in?
I'm gonna pull this up.
If you think these ignorant ass niggas just running around out here right now.
Come on, nobody can hear us. I swear to God.
Okay, hold on.
Everybody talking, they can't hear nobody saying it's a waste of time yelling over each other. That shit's dumb.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, because we talking over each other. Nobody can hear us. So listen. Okay, listen to this. I'm gonna pull this up. It said black students on average do score lower in reading proficiency compared to other racial groups in the United States, according to the National Education Data.
That's the key word. Score lower. Keep telling.
Hold on, I got you. Let me finish. For example, data from the National Assessment of Education Program, often called the nation's report card, has consistently shown Asian students tend to score highest on average, white students score above the national average, Hispanic students score below the national average, and black students on average have the lowest reading scores nationally. The issue is usually discussed in terms of reading proficiency, literacy rates, and grade level performance. Researchers point to the many contributing factors, which is poverty rate, school funding disparities, family instability, lower literacy exposure in some households, neighborhood violence and stress, teacher shortages, and differences in school quality. All right. So I want to put that out there first. So Beans, did you want to go ahead and finish your statement? Then we'll go around the room. Go ahead.
So the thing is this though, right? Tread. The point is that we can't expect for people to be in 3, 4, 5 places at the same time. That's just not how it works. You know that a lot of these kids that you're talking about are coming from homes where there's only one parent, right? So because of that, they don't really have nobody that is like super invested in their education. I can tell you growing up around black people that we had and put a high expectation and responsibility for the education of our children on the school system. That is what we expected. We expect not everybody was buying all those books and shit and reading them to their kids, right? Like my son, mama did that. My daughter, mama wasn't doing that shit, right? So everybody just didn't have that. You know what I mean? But I understand the point that you're making. I'm not trying to take away from it, but I just think, bro, respectfully, nobody benefits, uses, or depends on the system more than white people. This is, and I don't want to hear this shit about the fact that I don't want to hear this shit about the fact that they have the biggest population. That's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is whether or not when you looking at the dependency rates, if you're talking about black people, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you can't talk about the dependency rate and say, oh man, look how it's affecting us. Like that, no, that is if it's doing damage to us, then it's absolutely doing way more damage to them.
So here's the thing, and this is what annoys me about any of these conversations that we have amongst black people. Nobody wants to keep it real. Nobody wants to tell the damn truth. Everybody wants to pretend to keep the lie going. The reason why you have an issue with the literacy rate of black kids is the same reason you don't have one for Asian kids. Because in our culture, it's not cool to be a good student. It's not cool to do your schoolwork. It's not cool to behave in class. And we're going to keep sitting around pretending like we don't know what this is. We have a damn culture that rejects education.
First of all, I'm insulted. Let's go and do it. Since you, for some reason, on my birthday, you want to do this shit. Let's go and do it. You just named another reason, and I agree with you that that's another
happy
reason.
birthday, Bean. Shit, goddamn.
Hold on. You just named another reason, and I agree with you that that is also a reason, right? And something that needs to be improved on and checked in our community. But how dare you come in telling us that nobody wants to tell the truth when you just told us Obama left with a $4 trillion goddamn deficit, and after 3 goddamn Google searches, we all realized that shit was a lie. And then you want to accuse us and say nobody want to tell the truth, you lying ass nigga?
Hey, Beans, check this out. Fuck Obama.
Fuck Obama.
That's your response to you lying?
Fuck that big-eared. Fuck that big-eared fake-ass nigga. Because that nigga got pushed out of a white woman and was raised by a white man. Right. Fuck that nigga.
Hey, I agree with you 100%. But in defense of Dane, and this is why you were wrong and disrespectful, and you got me disrespectful.
I wasn't wrong.
You got me taking up for this light skin.
I wasn't wrong.
Nigga. But the fact of the matter is that he was not bigging up Obama. He was bigging up a policy that came from the Democratic platform.
I got you, Goldie.
He was asked a specific question. I think if you asked him straight up and down,
and the same nigga that he was talking about that came with the damn policy is a known racist. And if I would have been given the opportunity to break down how he's a racist, I'd have laid out every single thing he's done that was racist. But I wasn't allowed to do that. But I wasn't allowed to. Didn't you just get through saying that they can't hear us if we talk?
Go to the bathroom real quick. Hold it down for me.
But you see how I said something and I stopped talking? I'm not talking. I'm telling you something. I'm not talking.
Didn't you just say, brother?
Yes, that they can't hear us when we're all talking.
So then can I?
It's very different from me just saying to you very quickly.
Can I finish my statement? So can I finish my statement uninterrupted, brother?
Put your location in the back.
Like I already told you, I'm never gonna give you opportunity to hit me with them damn gorilla hands. And I'm not saying gorilla out of racism. I'm saying gorilla because he got big shit. Too late. Because I know this nigga down here gonna try to say that. That nigga down there gonna try to say it.
Hey Beans, I got a follow-up question for Beans real quick.
Absolutely.
So, well, here's the question. How are we? So look to the statement itself saying dependency. Isn't our dependency obvious if we're leaning on the school system the way you described it? And I'm not sure you actually meant to come off this way. You made it seem like at no point can black people solve their own problems without the input of the government. I wholeheartedly don't accept that.
But how could I have said that? But wait, how could I have said that or insinuated that in any kind of way when all I did was point out 2 things? One, because you asked the question about why is it that these people who have the most college enrollment and the most college attendance, their kids can't read? And I said, because they don't take their kids to school with them, right? When they in school, their kids at home by themselves trying to figure out that goddamn homework because most of these parents is going to school at night because they also working, right?
The reason, Mike.
Hold on, angry man. Before I have to call you out your name,
I'm actually gonna agree with you.
I was about to call you the NY word. You don't want that.
I'm actually gonna agree with you, but
I know. But listen, what I'm saying, Trig. So my thing is this though. I'm not disagreeing with you in totality about the statements that you're making. I'm just saying, bro, I did the math. You niggas got to let this shit go. And if y'all don't stop, I'm gonna start pulling up on you niggas. Black people, as specifically, right? When you look at food stamps and housing, I swear, look this up. You'll see it for yourself. Use it the less time. They're the least amount of time. They stay on it on average. Food stamps about a year. Housing 3 to 5 years. And they be out, bro. They actually are bootstrapping themselves with the system more than we give credit for, because we want to look at the 2 motherfuckers in our family that's been on it for 30 years.
Because black people don't like the government in their business. And whenever you on those programs, they in your business. They want to know what's in your bank accounts. They want to know they want to know who living in your house. They want to know too much of your business. So here's the thing, Trigger Mike. What being said is not wrong in the sense of you do need certain things from your government. You do need certain things institutionally. The difference between black people, and this has always been the difference versus white people, the difference is you don't have an institutional stigma that discourages white kids from education the way it discourages black kids from education. You have numerous factors that actually play a role in the prison, the pipeline system for black kids more than it does other kids. So that's an issue that got to be addressed regardless.
And so, yeah, I'm tracking with y'all on that for sure. My thing is like, I just kind of look at it as one of those situations like what came first, the chicken or the egg, and whose problem really is it to solve? You know, I think the family that we can blame the system, but I'm just trying to wonder if we did ourselves and our children in way before the system could ever get involved. Right?
Absolutely
I think
not. You can't.
Hold on. You gotta let me finish.
Sorry, Trigger Mike. I'm sorry, but your name is Trigger. You know you're gonna trigger people.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, did you really do your child in for that low performance in reading when you decided not to get along with your baby's father? Did that come first before the government part? So that's what I'm saying, where it's like we set ourselves up and our families up for failure by certain life choices. Then the system comes in and can't help, doesn't have services for such a thing. Mom don't got time, but she don't want to admit the child failing because she don't want to give dad the leverage to take her to court. Well, like, I'm just saying, which came first, the chicken or
the problem is the problem is this, because that is just like that question, which came first, the chicken or the egg, because it's so many different factors.
Information, man, you mix.
It's so many factors that weigh into that, because you gotta when you say well, what happened? Did she not get along with her baby father? Well, what was going on with her baby father? What was the reason that they was having an argument? Why was they at odds with each other? In a lot of cases, it's because of the disenfranchisement of black men. It's because of black men not being able to get gainful employment. That's going to be one of the main arguments that black people have in a relationship, is financial issues, right? So if you have black men that are actually excluded from the idea of being able to tap into American wealth, being able to get jobs, being able to get housing, being able to get loans for a house, being able to get certain things, of course you're going to have differences between them. You feel what I'm saying? So like it's not just a matter of, it's part of it is the breakdown in the household, but there were other factors before that, because if you go look prior to the 1960s, a lot of these issues black people didn't have.
Right.
Yep. So we got Angry Man. I mean, thank you, Angry Man, for that. We got Information Man in the building as well tonight, man. I want to get him in to get his perspective on what he's heard so far. Information Man, welcome to the show tonight, man. Good to see you. What are your thoughts on what you heard so far?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear my mic? Okay.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, we definitely have some issues, but I want to bring up some facts here. We have nationwide, there's about 36% of black young adults 18 to 24 that are enrolled in college. 39%. On the average in the United States, it's about 39%, and about 26 whole bachelor's degrees or higher. Another thing I want to clear up is that if you are a black child, whether it be boy or young lady, and your parents have college education or higher elevation in their academic, those kids in the black community, wherever they may come, tend to have a higher propensity towards education being a must, education being expected. So a lot of it has to do with socioeconomics and whether your parents themselves have an education. However, we know that in the black community that there are a lot of black people that went on to college and they might have been the first person to graduate from college. And that was something that their relatives or their parents wanted because their parents themselves value education. This is the problem that I have. And I've said this before on your platform before. What we do as black people is that we tend to maximize the minimum and minimize the maximum, meaning we take from what we see and we say, that's black culture. No, that's Sambo and gumbo culture. Black culture is not the wretched stuff that you see on television, that you see that's amplified. So we take that and we amplify it and say that represents black people when we don't know all black people in every community in every world. We know that socioeconomics plays a role. We know that not having a father in a household can definitely impact the structure of that household in terms of expectations that is expected of you. And so, and it also is a generational thing. I'm a Gen Xer. So my family that I came from, it was an expectation that you're either going to school or you're either working, you're doing something, you're not laying around playing video games. We live in a video game. We live in an era now where we have a younger generation that has no sense of history. And there's some laziness there. There's some entitlement there. There's some participation trophy generation, I would call it. And so there has been failures when we depend on the government too damn much. But let me say this. The black community has always valued education. I can name tons of organizations for you. I'm a member of one that have pushed high scholastic standards. But I agree with Angry Man that within some of our communities, you have, I call the Sambo and Gumbos, who will look down on you when you're pushing for education. But let's not get it conflated, because you got a lot of young black men. I myself we have mentor programs in my organization. I myself have been involved since I was 19 years old, being in college myself, helping and working with young men, young boys, and helping them to elevate themselves academically, mentorship, connecting them with black men that are professionals so that they can see someone that looks like them. Because a lot of times our young men need to see us in action. So for everything that you can find negative, there's another opposite to that doesn't get publicized. We don't publicize it. We publicize negativity because that sells. That's always going to sell. But do we have problems? Yes. Do we need to clean them up? Yes, we need to clean them up. I would only say the only solution to these things is you can talk about what the problems are all day, but the only solutions is what are we going to do about it? Starting first with our own family, our own kids, our own nephews. What are we going to do about it to improve the status of our kids? But it's not only black kids who may have some issues with reading proficiency. We've got problems in this country overall where you've got kids in general, all they can do is text. They don't even know how to write cursive anymore. They don't even know how to write full sentences because all they've been doing is texting. So it's not just black people. I think it's a cultural problem as well with Americans where kids, there was a guy, I'm gonna say this and land my plane. There was a guy, can't think of his name. He was saying that even though these kids have computers and all type of technology that you would think would put them ahead of us, they've done studies to show that even with the technology, these kids are not as proficient as those of us who grew up back in the day where everything was pencil and paper. They don't have good reading comprehension. They don't retain information because they're their involvement in computers and all this kind of stuff has, and in AI, has made them stagnant in their ability to process and think cognitively. I'll land my plane right there, gentlemen.
And I'll add to that. It's
I know
called
I was
brain
long-winded,
rot.
but thank you for giving me the time.
Absolutely, it's called
Yes.
brain rot.
Yes, sir.
It's brain rot, of course. If you Google what brain rot is,
yes, sir,
it is. When a kid sits and looks at TikTok all day and watches dumb shit all day, and they watch dumb shit continuously all day, shit that's not going to help them mentally, it's called brain rot. It keeps them stagnant. They can't move mentally.
The short term.
There's also stimulation overload as well. You know, it has the same kind of effect.
So you watching dogs jump off a couch all day, or a dude jump off a roof, or some stupid, and it's just in your head all day. You just your brain just it's not designed to just sit there and watch stupid shit.
How many? Let me just say this last point. How many of you gentlemen and ladies on the panel, when you were growing up, I'm a Gen Xer. How many of us, when we were growing up, we were told by an uncle or somebody in the community that we respected, boy, you gonna get up and work today. Help me go out. We gonna go paint today. We gonna paint our house. We gonna learn some type of trade. I grew up that way, where the black men in the community would be like, boy, you coming with me? I'm teaching you fishing today. We have lost community. We just got black people living in blocks, but we've lost a sense of community in some of our communities.
Yeah, and what I remember though, as a young man, because I'm a baby boomer, women and men, right, had no hesitation saying to a black boy, "Go make yourself useful. Go make yourself useful."
Yeah, you're right.
That's one of the things that men have to do. We got to make ourselves useful, or else we're stagnant. You know, so.
And I said that some of my uncles I grew up with, and First Lady can attest to this. Some of the uncles we grew up with, they worked with their hands. They was outside working. My grandfather he worked himself. I mean, they were just workers, and they would tell us, hey, he would call my mama, or my dad would do the same thing.
Put your ass to work.
Hey, I want you to drop Angry Man down as he talks about baby boomers. Drop his ass down.
Yeah, he'll call my mama the day before. He said, get that boy out that bed. His ass going with me tomorrow. And so it wasn't being on no house playing no games all day when I was growing up. Your ass was gonna be outside.
Yeah, so, it sounds to me
right. But we don't have that no more. These kids are playing video games all damn day long. They thinking about Nintendo Switch all damn day long.
Go ahead, Trigger Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say it sounds like.
I think AM been trying to get in there for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, AM. After Trigger Mike, you jump in, AM. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, AM. You get light skin privilege.
Beans. Where did Beans go? He's gone. This is why I talk over people.
He's still there. He's still there.
This is why I talk over people, because if I don't, I'm not going to get in the conversation. And I'm pretty sure I got cut off because my internet was tripping for a second. But this whole thing,
go ahead.
This whole thing about computers are not going to make kids smarter because they don't have the fundamentals. This is the reason why when we was kids, they would not let us use calculators. If we would have used calculators, we'd have never learned to add. You know, we'd have never learned to multiply. We'd have never learned any of that stuff, right? So they don't have the basics. And the problem with the educational system, and I know the sister down there that's a teacher, she's going to have an issue with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The problem with the educational system is, as Gen Xers, we were taught how to think. The kids today are taught what to think.
Right.
There's a fundamental difference between those two things.
Facts.
They're taught what to think today instead of how to think. They have comprehension problems.
Yeah.
And they think they're actually teaching them more today, but their education pales in comparison to our education back in the day, right?
For sure.
So, and then on top of that, even with our leisure time, the things we did were more rewarding. So even back in the day when we used to play video games, there's actually a study they did where they found that the video games that we played back in the day actually benefited us because they were problem-solving games. There were real consequences to the games, meaning you didn't just live forever. If you made mistakes, you would lose a life. So you would have to learn problem-solving skills, and then the game would actually complete itself. Nowadays, the games that they have,
and there was no cheat codes and stuff.
Yeah, nowadays they don't. Well, nowadays they don't need it because the games they play are never-ending games. It's a never-ending loop. So it's just one big loop of dopamine. Right? There's never no completion to it, right? So there's a lot of things today that's problematic for the kids. And the one thing, you know, I agree with most of what Infoman said, but the one thing I disagree with is we a lot of times as Black people, we want to focus on. We don't want to focus on the negative. We want to focus on the positive of the Black community, and I get that. But the only problem is, if you got a messed up transmission, you can't brag about how pristine the engine is. The problem is the transmission. We got to fix the transmission, right? In order for the car to run properly, we got to fix it. And see, this is the biggest problem that a lot of folks have with me, like my man Goldie down there and a few other people. They don't like the fact that I point out the bad parts of the Black community, and they don't get it. The reason why I point out the bad parts of the Black community is because being a Gen X, I remember what the Black community used to look like. I remember what it looked like, and the things I see today outrage me. The fact that you have Black folks that don't have respect for their elders, that don't know their history, that when we talk about Black culture, when he's talking about Black culture, I know the culture he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, W.E.B. Du Bois, Ernie Barnes, B.B. King. He's talking about the actual wealth of the Black community, actual culture. But what's going on right now is our culture is being commandeered by what you call the gumbo, the Sambo and gumbos. I call them ignorant niggas. They're commandeering our culture. And it may be just because they're the loudest or whatever. But in my opinion, I feel like they're commandeering it because I feel like those people or those forces that don't want to see us prosper, they pander to them and they give them a bigger platform and they allow them to misrepresent Black culture. And it's annoying.
So you're not wrong, but I'm tired of y'all Mexicans talking about my culture. So listen. The truth is that everybody is right on some degree, except for First Lady. She the only one who's been completely wrong the whole time since I've been up here. And that's because she won't. But that's only because you wouldn't answer my questions, right? But other than that, I think your heart is in the right place. It ain't like I think you're some kind of demon who don't care about Black people.
I find it odd that I'm listening to all these I'm listening to every panelist point of view, and everybody has a lot to say about education, and you're not even working in it. And the problem has a lot to do with it. And by the way, I'm Gen X also, okay? And a lot of it has to do with a multiplicity. And when I tell people don't get caught up in data, it's because our students' performance is based on a test that's designed by an all-white panel.
That's irrelevant.
We can't comment on education because we don't.
But I'm not going to do it if you cut me off. I'm not going to let you cut me off. You just cut me off, man. In the middle of me talking.
First lady, you got to realize. First lady.
Right?
Hey, hold on. Nick, real quick. Let Beans finish his sentence, and then I'm gonna let you.
So hey, I thought he meant for me to.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna let you respond right when you finish. Go ahead, Beans.
First lady don't realize Beans is the dude. He's the grown-up version of that kid that disrupts your class. You need to realize that.
No, what Beans? Well, you might be right, but what Beans is, he might be right. But there's a reason for that, because the reason is I don't like sitting through bullshit. Right? Like, get the fuck out of here. We, at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is this: they all taking the same test, right? So you want to talk about a specific test that they gave to some kids, 100 kids in Memphis? I don't give a shit about that. What I'm talking about is test scores across. Like when I was young, it was called the Iowa test. We took what was called the Iowa test.
We had the meat test. It was the same thing. Yeah.
So we all had state tests, right? Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So here's the thing about it. My mother, right, who also called me today for my birthday. So right. A lot of you niggas can't say that, right? So my mama called me today.
You trying to say your mama love you more than my mama love me?
That's a fact, nigga.
I can't wait.
So my mama who called me today, my mama just retired after multiple decades of being a teacher, right? So understand when I tell you that list that BMU read was an understatement. right? It basically classified everything, but it don't hit like it should. Like, imagine your mama telling you she's spending $200-300 every week on her students because they coming to school stinking, smelling like straight ass, like they ain't took a shower in 6 months.
Man, come on, talk.
Right? Imagine they ain't got clean clothes. They coming to school dirty. So she taking them before school, before class, or on lunch break, taking them to the mall real quick to buy them a little outfit, let them shit, shave, and bathe in the shower in the school so they ain't got to sit through class all day stinking. Like, that's the kind of teacher my mama was. She cared about them on a spiritual level just as much as she did on an educational level. But what she didn't like is that they was passing all them little motherfuckers when they really couldn't pass the test.
Thank you.
Right? She thought that shit was problematic. Now, me, I'm going to be honest.
I'm about to disrupt all of y'all.
I'm going to be honest, and I hope Information Man don't judge me on this. But I didn't care. I was like, fuck it, let's get them niggas a little degree. I mean, it is what it is. They going to be who they going to be. They going to do what they going to do. Give them the degree, right? Let them get out of that situation. We know prison, the pipeline, all that shit. Let them have a chance at life without having to deal with that school shit over and over and over again after, goddamn it, 13 years of being in it. But I kind of understand it to a degree now more with the data that comes out. And when you listening to these teachers talk, and like I said, my mama ain't nobody's liar, right? If these little motherfuckers couldn't read on the level that they were supposed to be on, and my mama said it, nigga, put it in concrete. That's what it is. So that's why I'm saying, what to the point what you was making earlier, Dane. Somebody brought this up the other day. I can't remember who it was, and I'm gonna land right here. We did the math on it, Dane. What they pointed out was that Black people have excelled economically under Democratic presidents, and it's not even close. So for Republican presidents, they had about a $97 reduction in their annual income earnings. Under Democratic presidents, they averaged about $1,500 to $1,600 increase. But what did they sacrifice for it, though, Dane? That's the point. And that increase, guess who it didn't really go to? People who look like me and you and have the genitalia that me and you have. It went to our women. And empowering our women over us was a part of the disenfranchising, which happened on the Democrats' watch. And I ain't no fucking Democrat. Everybody who know me knows I hate all these bitches. All of them, Dane. Democrats and Republicans. I hope all the motherfuckers take a real cruise over there and that bitch sink.
Don't forget to mention.
That's a very objective observation.
Don't forget to mention that under Obama, Black people.
Okay, Information Man got some information, and then First Lady can go.
Go ahead and say something.
Yeah,
I farewell. All right. Number one.
Oh, take care, First Lady.
That you guys look at. And we had this conversation. I've been teaching 26 years. My oldest son is 36. The youngest is 9. He just turned 9. The type of tests that were given back then are not the same. All right. So we can't even compare it. What I will tell you is in one of my intervention groups, the process is not the same test. Yeah, it's the same test, and that's what the problem is. So I'm glad that you spoke on it. The fact that everybody get the same test is what the problem is. The Asians perform well because most of them go to the parochial schools and the schools that confine to them, which means a lot of them don't even depend on certain standardized tests. All right. They deal more with performance. So the fact that all the tests are the same is the problem. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, she's
I'm
actually
doing my intervention groups. Okay. We reading this little passage, and they like, the passage is about a supermarket. Our kids know what a supermarket is. We call them grocery stores. And it was actually a test bank, like a sample test question from our LEAP test, and that's what we do here in Louisiana. I could give each one of you gentlemen right now the literacy test that Louisiana uses, and I guarantee you the majority of you would perform below. I guarantee you.
It depends on your educational background, man.
It has nothing
you can't generalize like that.
Man, go get the damn test. I'm
just like when they gave those IQ tests.
You know who we are. Hold on, let me say this.
I wanted to make a statement.
Listen at me now.
Listen at me.
The test that we use in Louisiana has nothing to do with reading words.
First lady.
And I told and y'all want to keep arguing with me. I'm working in it right now. I was a minute ago. So you're dealing with something where you guys are actually trying to compare intelligence based on performance, which is not the same. We've proven it. My first degree was in psychology. Okay. We've proven that over and over that we get caught up in these tests. It's a money-making game. But you guys claim that you're so woke.
First lady.
It's a money-making game. Testing is not about measuring our kids' intelligence per se. It's the money. Go and research. Fact check it. Go look and see how much money is actually spent on standardized tests. Go and look. And the problem is
it is a money-making system.
Hello. First lady. He got a question for you.
Like if you haven't, like the crazy thing, you know something, you want to know what's crazy to me about black women? You could actually be agreeing with them and they won't shut the fuck up just so you can agree with them. Like I was getting ready to say something that was going to reinforce. That was going to reinforce what she was going to say.
Now you talked the whole time I was talking, so you need to practice what you preach, little dusty boy. Shoot, I could get down too. You better ask somebody. And I've always been a pastor's wife. I came out the trenches too. Now, you gonna respect me or don't talk to me.
Them kids you teaching dumb as fuck. Them kids
now you tell me to shut the fuck up. You better be able to stand up.
Them kids you teaching dumb as fuck because you dumb as fuck.
And to disrespect a woman. I'm
my mom and my kids standing here.
And you sit up there.
Kiss my entire yellow ass. Kiss my entire yellow ass. Kiss my entire yellow ass.
No, she got reinforcements. That's crazy.
Kiss my entire ass.
How you got backup on the panel?
Kiss my entire ass.
Oh, sorry ass.
Kiss my entire ass.
You gonna talk to me, you gonna respect me. That's the one thing black women ain't taking no disrespect no more. My son is in the other room.
Go get that white woman's wig off your damn head. Go get that white woman's wig off your head. Then we have a conversation. Go get that white woman's wig off your head. Then we have a conversation.
You Negro.
Go get that white woman's wig.
I want peace. I want problems always.
Hey, hold on.
I'm a grown ass motherfucking man. You ain't nobody's mama. Shut the fuck up. You ain't nobody's mama. You ain't nobody's goddamn mama. Shut the fuck up. You ain't nobody's mama. Shut up. Shut up.
With disrespect.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You ain't nobody's mama. Shut up. You ain't nobody's mama.
You disrespect.
You ain't nobody's mama. You ain't nobody's mama. You ain't nobody's mama. Go cook some biscuits.
With your intimidating
You ain't nobody's mama. Go cook some biscuits.
You know,
y'all gotta chill out. We derail everything. Chill out.
I dropped my location, baby. I ain't scared.
I'm gonna be
So
honest.
we need to be respectful. Hold on.
And I'm gonna show you.
I want to be out of somebody.
Peace. Because I got another question. I know I need to get Dame in on this, and I need to get Information Man in on this.
It's a new day. Black men ain't bowing down to loud ass black women.
Okay. So I need more of my daughters. Everybody saw you crawl behind my desk. Anyway, so listen, we need to be respectful, guys. Okay. I know things go get left, and everybody can have their disagreements, but we need to be respectful to each other while we up here on the panel. Okay. Now, I do want to ask this question though, and this is the last question of the night, and then we can have this discussion until everybody's done with the discussion. But the question is, why is conversation around masculinity and fatherhood often controversial in progressive spaces?
You just saw it. You just witnessed it. You just witnessed it. There is a thing in our culture where black women think that all of us are boys. They adopted this shit from the Jim Crow era. They think they're supposed to talk to us any kind of goddamn way. Talk about some, you don't disrespect the black women. Who the fuck is you? You ain't God. You ain't God.
Walk up to me and I'm the
You ain't God. You ain't God.
You stop too. You can come and get
You
it
ain't
too.
God Almighty.
You can come and get it too.
You ain't God Almighty.
You
ain't God Almighty.
I want to hear Dame. Dame is from California. I would really like
Okay,
to.
so get out of here. That goofy ass shit. Talking grown men like they little boys.
Right, so let me ask the question again.
This ain't the Jim Crow era. This ain't the Jim Crow era.
So Dame, the question going to you, Dame, and to everybody cool down, Dame.
I can't get outside work for some of my people. Shut the fuck up.
Yo, go find me a man to talk to.
Educated.
Go find me a man to talk to.
Educated.
Go find me a man to talk to in that household.
Shit.
Go find me a man to talk to in that household.
Hold on, Anger Man. We're gonna ask Dame the question. Dame, everybody need to calm down. Dame, why is conversation around masculinity?
Get on your ass too. You better ask somebody.
Why is conversation around masculinity and fatherhood often controversial in progressive spaces?
Because progressives like to use like buzzwords like toxic masculinity in their conversations regarding fatherhood and masculinity. They hyper focus on negative aspects of masculinity a lot of times. So that's why a lot of it can be controversial. I think people who are having conversations. That's like I said, I am a Democrat, but I have some very conservative views. Me and my wife get into them. Some people I know get into it because I have some conservative views about certain things like that. I'm a very traditional man. I mean, but traditional masculinity. I believe in this neo masculinity that includes bullshit and like, you know, and crying and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe in all that stuff. But I think people try to demonize real masculinity by attaching things like toxicity and misogyny to masculinity. So that's why a lot of times it can be controversial in progressive spaces.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you use the term progressive. So the progressive is the radical left wing, right? If we could say of the Democratic Party, they usually call them progressive. And I have a very, you know, I look at it, you got the LGBT people over there and you have feminists. And I look at people like Sheryl Sandberg and all these other powerful women with a lot, like billions of dollars and stuff. And I'm like, why are these women attacking masculinity? And they use words like toxic masculinity. And I think the answer is actually historical. Men inherit the earth. We're the only ones with our power to go conquer, take shit as we please. And the women have the same ambition, but they don't have the power to do it. So in order to keep any power for themselves, they have to launch an attack on masculinity. So the thing that I always say about feminism, or more specifically radical feminism, they can't make themselves look strong and powerful without trying to make men look weak and inept. They cannot do one without the other, right? I want y'all to think about every powerful man you know. They got money, that has assets. When we all get together in a room and we about to talk money, do we mention women at all? Does any nigga get a raise and say, I can't wait to go oppress these bitches with the money I'm making? No, we don't. We don't do that. We don't think about them at all. But unfortunately for them, you have to put two and two together. Every single time they want to talk about power and acquiring things, they have to talk about how they're going to bring men down a notch so they can do that. They are completely misaligned with how they actually get power. A woman gets power through influence. So if I'm really going to say something, I'm saying most women today that are progressives are dumb, because men out here fighting, bloodying each other, destroying each other's reputations and whatnot to gain advancement. All a woman got to do is marry a nigga, and she rich. So that they're using their wrong power. I'm sorry, they're misusing and misaligned with how they actually gain power, right? So the analogy I like to use, and then I'll land here, is the way it works for men is that there's a diamond in the dirt. Two dudes bloodying each other over the diamond. The modern woman thinks she should roll up her sleeve and get in the ditch and fight the boys for the diamond. Then she's gonna get her eyes black and be like, "Why y'all hit me? I just wanted the diamond." No. That's what the modern woman would do. A traditional woman would say, "Let me go get a towel and some band-aids. When this nigga win the diamond, I'm gonna wipe the blood off him and be like, 'You handsome, big, strong man. Can you share that diamond with me?' He's gonna be like, yeah. As a matter of fact, you can take it. I gotta go to work." And that's how a woman is supposed to gain power in this world. A man that's powerful will just give you anything if you have influence over him, right? So the progressives don't know that.
I like to add to that though, Trigger Mike. One of the things that we got to also give women the only credit they get is they're building their own army of men who actually acquiesce to them. And there's always more of those guys than men who stand on their own square. So that's the armed force that they need to be able to maintain power, because if men wanted to take it back, we would. But so they need other men. They need other men who acquiesce to that bullshit. And unfortunately, there's too many men like that.
So do you?
That's always been that's always the what they've exerted over. They've always done that.
But we talking. We just bring it to the forefront. That's how it is.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying, because I remember I was watching this thing, and they were talking about, like, men. A couple guys were saying, like, oh, if men and women went to war, men would decimate women. No, they wouldn't, because women would approach the lowest of the men and incentivize them to fight for them.
And no doubt.
I'm glad you believe that.
And still won't give them no pussy at the end.
Hold on, guys. This is one flaw in your theory. Any man, y'all do realize that any man that intentionally follows a woman in that way is a weak man by definition. So you're telling me that the gun-toting men are going to get decimated by the weak men? I don't think that's going to happen. I do agree with what you're saying, R-Pain.
Talk about numbers, though.
This is who we call simps, right? The reason feminism has gotten the wave that it got is because they're able to get men who are begging for their attention and their validation. But what I've noticed is these men actually are the weakest. This is why no matriarchy in history has ever succeeded in creating.
I agree with you, Trigger Mike. It's just that there's millions of them.
But that's what I'm saying. You really don't think that if there's 100 men and 100 women, that you don't think that they could get more than half of these men to act to under the pretense of, like, you know what, we don't like them, we like you.
No, so
we like you, to actually do the fighting for them. If you don't think that women have that's historically how women have done men. They've gotten other weaker men to fight stronger men to get things that they want. Some of the laws have been passed. Weaker men fighting stronger men to pass laws that benefit women.
From the lowest
That's
level.
what's happened. And that's what happened in a physical altercation. It's always, let me go get my cousin to fight you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
not me. I'm gonna stand on my own.
I was gonna say,
you're masculine.
Look, Damien, that particular part, that's what you're saying. What I'm saying is that the women can never hold that power, because what ends up happening is that the strong, like, how do I put this? The men always win in the end. Like, I get what you're saying. I think what ends up happening is that we have periods where the strong men conquer, they get complacent, then the weak men come in and they mess stuff up like this, and they start siding with the women, and then this creates an uprise where the strong men got to take over.
Yeah, Trigger Mike, you got a point, but man, we're on the precipice of destruction with all these fucking women who are in charge. I'm telling you. I mean, the more listen,
my husband is in charge of my house.
This shit is diabolical. This shit is diabolical.
I say you can come back in when I'm finished.
How about that?
The real point is that if you look at the electorate, right, we came just a couple of votes away from Kamala Harris being president. What would be the bane to this United States? But the open borders, the liberalism, the socialism, all that shit.
Go there,
our country is on the precipice of communist socialism because of the weak men following women down these aisles.
And the reason we got to let that happen, so two things can be true at the same time, though, I think. The reason we actually have to let that happen is because isn't that quietly creating the resurgence of the masculine man?
I think we should try to stop. We should try to stop the destruction before it happens.
No,
Like I said,
I agree, but I think that's what we always say. It's the wishful thinking part. I think we already let it go on too long.
I agree with that.
And we got to let the destruction happen. Like
how you
I don't know what y'all think, what America y'all living in, but Kamala would have been way better than Trump right now.
Get the hell out!
Hold on. So one of the things that
male female stuff.
One of the things that you guys did not mention was the fact that we also have the majority of women that are grooming these so-called weak ass fucking men. So that's an uphill battle that we have right now, because as the generations grow up, as the generations come in, you got a bunch of weak ass fucking men that's automatically coming out of here, starting out to be
a lot of weak men grooming
starting out to be, first and foremost, one of the things that we already discussed, and it was because they're illiterate. The majority of these damn children out here is starting to be illiterate. The other thing is that you have too many goddamn women, girls that are acting like boys, and they I don't even know what the fuck is about to happen with them. But then you got the men that's out here. The first thing that you're going to have a problem with is because they don't know where the fuck they at. They can't even read a fucking map. They can't do anything right now. Look at what's happening with you guys. You guys already said one of the biggest problems. Why are you talking while I'm talking, man? Why are you talking while I'm talking? So
because I talked while I was talking. That's why.
I didn't say anything.
You ain't tell the rest of them that.
I didn't say anything while you was talking.
It's not the 60s, boo.
So now what we have also is what's being illustrated on this panel right now. We got a bunch of unruly fucking women. And they
we have some strong, educated women. Okay, now you're not gonna talk at me. You want to put me by my name.
I'm not even talking to you.
Educated women on this camp, and I'm a married one.
To you, man. I'm not talking to you. I don't give a damn.
Stop dropping the hints, then.
Stop. I don't give a damn if you married. What's that supposed to mean to me?
Sure, like I say.
So let me finish what I'm saying.
Like that too. You come to my
Respectfully, I just understand how your husband can let you stay up on a show 3 hours early.
Let me finish what I have to say. And then I'm gonna pass the mic to somebody else.
Hold on, Nikki. So I'm gonna let him finish what he said. Now I'm gonna let you respond to what he said. Go ahead, JT.
So anyway, we have a bunch of unruly fucking women, and the thing is that as men, we got to start stopping this shit. Let their ass go over there where all the goddamn rainbow people is, and let them have they motherfucking shit, because this shit is ridiculous. It's coming. The craziest part to me was that we was going over this whole thing of the most dumbest people. This is the first time we ever witnessed the damn generation that's out here right now is dumber than their own fucking parents and grandparents, for that matter.
Well, what you expect? Look at who teaching them.
I'm saying.
Gucci Mane older sister teaching them right here.
Hey,
that's it.
Right there. Top secret clearance, counterintelligence.
You see who teaching them? Look who teaching them.
And what's up?
Look who teaching them.
And what's up?
Hey, this is what illustrates that whole point.
Don't look me up, baby. Don't look me up. You scared. You intimidated by me. Now, where your credentials at? You want to compare resumes?
So let me say this. Let me say this too.
That's what I thought.
When y'all talked about your
I don't pay attention. Hold on for a second. I don't pay attention to ass ignorant.
Bring that resume up. Talk with your resume.
You ain't educated. I don't give a damn what piece of paper a white man gave you.
Baby.
I don't care what piece of paper. I don't care what piece of paper a white man gave you. Your ass is not educated.
Like I say, look,
you are not educated.
I ain't got a fake
at all.
The bar is very low, angry man. The bar is very fucking low.
I ain't got it.
The bar is low as fuck.
Our credentials are verified. Now
that's why. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's what I was talking about earlier.
That's what I thought.
Niggas like that have outbred the rest of us.
Yeah.
That's the niggas that's having all the damn kids and shit and teaching all the damn kids. That's why the black community is in the state it's in right now. This ass ignorant nigga supposed to be an educator of 20-some years.
Shut up. That's what's
this
wrong
nigga right here.
You sitting on the
I never had no teacher that act like that, bro.
What you doing in our
I
community?
never had no teacher
What you
that act
doing to
like
better
that.
kids in our community except for putting them
Hey,
down?
JP, you
What
hear
you
me?
doing?
I've never in my
What you
life
doing?
had a
What you
teacher
doing
that
in
acted like that.
Go pick your Bible up.
I would have
Go
dropped out of
pick your
school
Bible
if I
up.
had a teacher
What you
like this.
supposed to be
Me
doing?
too.
Unfiltered. I just want
Me
to say,
too. Hey,
man.
Go pick your
All right,
Bible
man.
up.
We got to get this under control, man.
Well, what
Hey,
is
listen,
that you supposed to go about
hold on,
with
just a second. So just a second.
crazy.
I want to go back to what we said about the weak boys, because everybody are teachers and everybody do everything they do in education. But I'm telling you, here in Dallas, Texas, when we're coaching young men in Little League football and they're 6 foot tall, 5'11", 220 pounds, solid, and they mamas are dragging them out there because they see it in them. And they put these boys out there, and these boys are getting hit. I'm telling you, I've been saying this for years. So y'all know I'm not just saying this for the moment. If you go back and watch my shows for the last 3 years, I've been talking about this, coaching Little League football, coaching these 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds on that field. These young boys are, I've never seen. It's got to the point, Damon, I quit. I cannot handle it. I cannot sit there and watch these big old boys who could be knocking helmets out, crying like babies, and their mama running out there saying, "Get this Gatorade, you thirsty, baby?" and hugging them, and they got their fingernails painted and they twitching like girls. And I'm just, and then some of them like, okay, maybe they ain't got no daddies. So maybe these coaches need to step up. And the coaches step up and they try to discipline. Then I see the dad is coming, and the dad is getting ran by the wives. And one boy, big ass, just big for nothing. He out there playing. He get hit by a boy that's 4 foot tall. He fucking damn near 6 foot. He on the ground crying. His mama runs out on the field and helps him take his helmet off. Say, "Take this shit off. We going home."
Yeah.
And the dad is sitting right there like, she made the decision.
But
BMU,
I'm just telling you, it's just bad, bro.
Well, BMU, here's the thing, because this is part of it too. This is part of the disenfranchisement of black men as well, right? Do y'all think for 1 second that the overall structure, the whoever's in charge, white people, whatever, the government, whatever, do you think for 1 second that they don't understand that if they put our women in a position to be above us, that this is not going to be the result? Right. They knew this was going to be the result. They knew this, which is the reason why they don't allow that shit to happen in their cultures.
That's right.
In the other cultures, they don't allow that shit. You're never going to turn on any podcast with Asian men, white men, Latin men, where you see one of their women doing what that one just did a second ago. You're not going to see that.
Right.
You're not going to see that. Like we've come to this place where our women, whether we like it or not, have co-opted a lot of the tactics of the Jim Crow era. The same way in the Jim Crow era, a black man could be 70-some years old and still be a boy. That's the way our women treat us now. Yeah. No matter how old you are, no matter what your education level is, no matter what your socioeconomic status is, all of these women believe they're supposed to talk to you like you're a child. Like, how dare you say this? Now, what I said to her earlier that set her off is no different than anything I would have said to one of y'all if we would have had a back and forth.
Okay, her name is
if we would have had a back and forth,
and we're not going to allow you guys to discipline. I'm a very submissive wife, but you guys got a bad habit of judging women in general.
We can't tell.
No. I know you can't tell because you're submissive.
That's not possible.
Because you're hurt. Whatever woman hurt you, I'm not the one that did it.
That's not possible.
Don't put me in the same category as other women. If a woman tipped you off, and if a woman beat you like that, I'm sorry. But Nikki can do it.
First lady.
Can do it.
First lady. Can you hear me, First lady?
Yeah, she can hear you.
No, I can't. Be quiet, baby. Be quiet. I'm actually in my car now, but what did you say?
Then you answered him. Talk about no, I can't.
Oh, Lord, you got them.
No, my son. I have an autistic son. You will respect him. He was actually, I've given you guys 3 hours, so excuse him for needing me for a minute, okay?
You in the car?
I'm in the car headed home. Okay?
Came us into submission now. Autism.
Now, what was your question about the submission? shit.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me talk to it. First of all, you didn't have to say all that. We're not gonna cut up in front of the babies.
Oh no, he said, "Oh, she can't hear now," and no, I could not. My son was talking, so yes, I did have to say that.
Oh,
Okay,
because you guys have a problem with judging women.
Okay,
Hey, Nick,
look,
they're not gonna
here's the
send that
thing.
around, babe. They're not gonna send it around, babe. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Can you just get out of attack mode for 1 second so we can have a conversation? So here's the thing. When I made my statement, I was speaking in general. You took that as a direct attack on you. I actually was going to agree with your point about the standardized test based on the fact that some of those tests have questions that are culturally different. So I was going to agree to that. And reinforce your point, but you wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. And as far as what I said to you, I said what I said to you no different than I would say anything. Because when we up here having these conversations, I don't look at it as women, man. I look at it as somebody else on the panel that has a point or has something that they want to say. And I'm going to have the same smoke for them the way I'm going to have for anybody else, whether they male, female, whatever. So that's just what it is.
Facts.
Okay, but five words into my sentence, you interrupt me. You talk for 2 minutes and 45 seconds without me interrupting you. Yes, I pay attention to the time. I was less than 30 seconds into my point of view, and you had already started interrupting me. I let you get all your points out. You did not let me get all my points out. And you're talking with somebody that dealt with human intelligence. So no, you guys are not reciprocating the same type of treatment. And I really feel like it is because I'm a female. Then you got your old boy in the background throwing those little dry subliminals about black women and the power and all of this stuff like that. Yeah, I'm very submissive to my husband. My husband and I have and although I have my own credit, I don't even go buy or purchase a vehicle or anything else without his approval. So I know what it is to be submissive. I've been married 18 years. 18 years.
Well, that's congratulations. That's cool. But I think you got a couple of us mixed up because it wasn't me that was talking for 2 minutes. I hadn't even said anything yet. I'm
sorry. It was one of them dudes that said it. I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, to get back to the whole point, right? When it came to the whole concept of the standardized test, like I get that they're gonna ask questions that are gonna cater more to the experience of what white kids go through, but we can't really use that as an excuse unless we're gonna do something about the test to actually change the test or start teaching the kids in a way where they have a more broad vocabulary, because that's what the issue is. The issue is vocabulary. The issue is the fact that if you use certain words that are unfamiliar to black kids on those standardized tests, that's what trips them up and that's what confuses them. That's why when she said she would give us the test, a lot of us would do bad. I never had a problem with those tests because I had experiences in multiple communities and other places. So I had a more expanded vocabulary. I understood what other words meant and other experiences that people have. But for a lot of kids that's brought up in the hood, you're gonna have words that they don't grasp or they don't understand because that's not their experience in their neighborhood.
Man, look, black.
Thank you, and I totally agree with everything you said, and that was the whole point. But I never even got to the point to explain the type of literacy screener that our state used, which is called Dibbles, and it has nothing to do with reading like what we're thinking. Like you just say words. It is not even closely remotely the same. And that's been one of our arguments, but that's what our state legislation chose. Our State Department of Education chose the Dibble screener. In addition to that, they have to also take the LEAP test, which is the actual ELA test. But it's not the way we think, where the vocabulary, it may ask you, hey, so they might want you to pretend that you were in that situation or apply that skill. And the thing that's actually what my whole point I wanted to make is not the literacy that's getting our kids, is actually the writing that's what's getting our kids. Our kids don't know how to write and how to put into words the way that test grades them. They know how to write. They may know how to express themselves, but on the scale that the test is actually graded on, because I never even got a chance to even state that I actually grade. I'm a rater in another state, the state of California, the state of Oregon. I actually grade the standardized tests from home. And they're pretty similar, although they're different states. Our kids don't know how to write. But still, that still gets compiled into the literacy data. And that's why I say, please don't be a data rat, because those are the things that we are facing in our communities right now.
Yeah, I don't.
I want to say this too. I don't know who said it a few minutes ago. I think it was Trigger Mike, or it may be in JT, that they said this is the first time ever that parents are that kids are not the future anymore. We used to sing a song, I believe the children are our future, right? I don't believe that anymore. I believe that we're living in a time right now that when we fade out, especially the millennials, when we fade out, because we was right there in the middle of it. We was right in the middle of the of seeing the shit from cassette to CD to DVD, Blu-ray, digital. We would ask G's to Google to all this other shit, LimeWire to now. We were just right in the middle of it. But I'm saying when we fade out, we are smarter than our children, guys. That's a fact. Yeah. If you put parents in the classrooms with their kids right now, we would achieve higher. We're just smarter. And it used to be to a point where you were smarter. It used to be to the point we would go to our grandmother's house and we would have to hook up something for our grandmother because she didn't know how to do it. We had to teach her how to do the remote, teach her how to get the cordless phone, teach her how to charge this, right? And now it's to the point where we're teaching our kids to do shit that they should know more about than we do.
So you
know what? Hey, hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on, because I had to pull up.
And Trigger Mike, you can cook right after Anger Man. Go ahead.
I had to pull up this test that she was talking about, where she's talking about the Dibbles practice for letter naming fluency, phoneme segmentation fluency, and nonsense word fluency. This is some bullshit. I see why this would confuse kids. This right here is I'm literally looking at the sample test. It's got WAVE, WAV, GUB, RIN, BEF, PES, ZOC, FAS. Like, these are nonsensical words. I guess they're trying to use those words to show them how to pronounce other words. Why would you even try to teach that way?
Thank you for saying my point of view. And you only have 1 minute.
That's goofy as hell.
Yeah. Trigger Mike, what were your thoughts?
I mean, I think you were talking about the children aren't the future anymore.
Yeah.
And I think we're going into a K-shaped economy where there's going to be no more middle class. That's how it's going to be. And the bad part is that it's basically going to be single people in single parents versus the families, the intact families. I've done a lot of research on that, and not antagonizing anybody. I'm just saying that's what it's going to look like. The people who take the time to focus on their children's education, they got grandmas living with them. They have an insulated community. Those kids are going to be the kids of the future that we're talking about, and the rest of the deficient kids are going to come from households that don't have that exact model. Because, like Bean said, they don't have the time. They're going to actually have to invest more time into work just to make ends meet. And they're not going to be able to read to the children.
I got you.
Right?
And they cut healthcare, child care out for a lot of families nowadays.
So, yeah, not only is that true, it's one of those things where it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. People say, oh, the family model gone, man. It's new times. Well, those times are about to be more pertinent than ever.
Yep. Beans, what you got, man?
Yeah. I wanted to say this. I gotta go. I gotta finish kicking it for my birthday, but I only got 1 minute left. But I wanted to say this. So I was just talking to my mom's, right? I'm mad old girl is gone because I wanted her to hear some of this too. She said a lot. I can't remember it.
She's still here.
She's still here.
Oh, she's still here. Okay, cool.
I'm still here.
Okay. She said a lot, right? I can't remember it all. I don't process the way I used to, BMU. You know, I used to hold information. Be ready to go back up on somebody. That shit is going away, man. I'm just like literally watching my memory leave. It's crazy. But man, I asked my mom this, bro. I said, what percentage of your kids would you say either was below their literacy level or just really struggle with literacy. I had to ask her twice because she said 90%. Now, this is the thing about it. I want to make sure I get this information. My mom mostly taught at schools dealing with special education. So this matters a lot.
You good,
right?
TT.
Because like when I asked her, well, what about Lane Tech, which to this day is like top 2 high schools in Chicago. She like, no, they're not dealing with that because they got selective enrollment, right? They get to look at your grades and all this other stuff and say whether or not you getting in there, right? And they get you out of there real fast if it looks like you're not compliant or competing for that matter. Then about the test that the young lady was saying that they have, right? She showed me the test that they take at her schools. She sent it to me. It's called It's called the CTEA, the Kaufman Test of Educational Achievement, right? And a part of that is something called nonsense word decoding, right? Which is what the sister was telling us about. But as I was trying to explain to her earlier, that's only one part of it, right? So if you have a problem with being able to notice these are nonsensical words, right? Hey, I can understand that. But then there's another
so
part.
hit a pause button then.
You not cut me off, please.
No,
Nikki, I'll let you
listen.
respond.
No, it's not.
Listen, he talking about the nonsense words. He said it's one part. It's actually 2 in 1.
Let us finish speaking,
bro.
man.
This is insane. Like, you're a professional. You're telling us that you've been a professional for 26 years. Why can't you do it with me? Because I'm not white.
I'm trying to wrap this thing up so I can put my son in the bed so I don't have to come in.
Hit the exit button. Then nobody's
trying to wrap this thing up.
Oh yeah, if you
I don't cite correction.
Yeah, Nick, if you gotta go, that's fine.
To
baby.
be rude, like this.
He brought up a part of the test that I brought up, and I just wanted to correct him that the nonsense words is actually 2 portions of the test. It represents 2 portions of the test. And then I was gonna let you continue on, but continue on.
Can I ask one question before she leaves? Before she leaves.
But what does that mean though? Right? It doesn't mean anything, even if you saying that it's 2 parts. Because I never said it was only
it's the heaviest weighted item on the test, sir. That's
fine,
why.
But the point is
God
that
bless
that's
you.
not the only thing that they use to determine whether or not kids can read.
In Louisiana, they do, sir.
Absolutely,
I said it
that's
over and
fine
over.
for you.
In
That's fine for
Louisiana,
you.
they do.
You see how you keep doing this? I'm trying to be respectful because I got a woman in the house with me.
Man. Dang, Jesus Christ.
Like, this is insane, bro. I shouldn't have to be white to get consideration from a sister. At the end of the day, the point is this: if it's a part or 2 parts, it doesn't
What's
matter.
insane is you won't land your plane. I got a question to ask her before she leaves.
I'ma land my plane if she keep cutting me off.
Please, I understand
You was
you, man.
talking
You've been
for
on
a
this thing
minute
3 hours,
before she
man.
interrupted you. You was talking for a minute before she interrupted you, Beans. Come on,
And
bro.
I just was gone for 30 minutes, cocksucker. What the
Drop
fuck?
the low, nigga. Drop the low. That's all you gotta do.
I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna do that. So anyway, so being you, so right. So here's the thing, though, right? So again, it's a whole lot of. It's about 5 other components. Some shit I didn't even think that they considered reading. I thought reading was you put a word in front of me and I'm able to tell you what the fuck it is. But it's more to it than that. They actually quiz them on reading comprehension as well too, meaning understanding. If they show you a definition, even if you don't know the word, you're supposed to be able to say what that definition is for that word based on how it's used in a sentence. So it's a lot of other components that they use to test that. But in these good schools, no. But in these lower case schools, these schools with special education, I'm sorry that I believe the white man's data on this one.
All right, Anger Man got a question for you, Nikki. Go ahead, Anger Man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Could you pull the screen up again, BMU, please? So here's my question, because I never had to deal with this when I was in school, right?
Me either.
So are they asking them to read these nonsense words as if they're words, or are these a way of trying to show them how to pronounce other words? That's what I can't figure out.
Okay, so this portion of the test actually tests their ability to blend words. So when I told them that it's 2-in-1 test, when it's 2-in-1, one is your correct letter sounds. So the student can actually sound out each individual sound and then blend, or they could just blend the entire word. The danger in that is that they only have 1 minute. If you're special ed, you still only get 1 minute. You receive no accommodations on the test.
Damn.
Also, the literacy screener for the state of Louisiana for grades K through 3 is Dimples. That is what they use for our literacy data.
Wow.
It's not the lead test. The lead test comes into play for 3rd and up, but our major literacy screener is K through 3. It's the Dimples test. That is a 2-in-1 portion of the test. Now, this is something that our students had the ability to prepare for. We used to use a type of assessment called STAR assessment. Once our Black students began to perform well on the STAR assessment, they said, oh, well, we're not using that anymore in our data. They won't even allow us to use it as part of what we call an SLT. So it's oh no, every time we close the gap, they come up with another type of assessment.
Come up with some
In reality, if our students were given an assessment that was based on their culture, you would see that their literacy rate is actually performing right there with the national average. The class that I provided the most interventions with, we only had 3 students that did not pass that literacy screener. 2 of them are extreme special ed students, and they did not score the lowest. They scored what would be considered a C. So, but they did not consider what would be a B, which is benchmark. A is above benchmark. F is well below. So we had 2 students out of 20 students that performed well below. But if you look at that data, our kids come from the worst portion of our time. It's a community called Parkview and Trishelle. Go look it up. They all over social media and the news because it's our worst area.
It's a murder.
But guess what? 79% of my students performed at benchmark or above. So that's why I warn people about looking at data.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? Because I'm looking at this, and if this is part of the other test, right? So if I'm using this,
I hate America. I'm sorry, Angry Man. I love you, bro, but I hate
Chicago niggas, man.
Just keep talking. I'm not even that loud. Ignore me. That shit.
So see, I know you had a problem with comprehension in school. You better cut that shit.
Fuck out of here, nigga. I can read better than every nigga on this.
Back to the streets with you.
Issue with this is this dabbles. This is some bullshit, and I'm looking at it because I know it's some bullshit because some of these nonsense words, depending on, so if you connect that to another word, so like TAL, which could be talent, tally, a bunch of different things. Depending on what the word is, you're going to pronounce it differently. So how the hell would they? That's some bullshit. You feel me? That's like a test that is designed specifically so that the answer would be subjective.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that way it's like, yeah, you was right, but you wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm looking at that like,
is it Dimples? D-I-B-E-L-S?
Yeah,
D-I-B-B-E-L-E.
Yeah, D-I-B-L-E-S, I think.
D-I-B-B-L-E?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is something different, man.
D-I-B is actually D-I-B-E-L-S.
Yeah. So see, here's my thing. This is just like that new way they're trying to teach kids to do math.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you confusing them like that?
Stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That's what this is. That's what this
is. But
so,
this what I'm saying though. But this what I'm saying though, Angry Man. That's fine. But one thing has to be true. Can these motherfuckers read? I'm telling you, when I was in college, bro, and I went to a fucking community college. I tell the story a lot. JT, you probably heard me tell it. My teacher showed me kids' essays. Them shits was like I was standing on the street corner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, niggas had walked over here, and so what had happened was, and then, I mean, like, that shit was crazy, right?
Yeah,
But what I'm saying is this: when I saw
what up,
that
though?
when social media really grew, now you start seeing that niggas, I'm talking about grown black folks, didn't know the difference between they. I mean, they're there,
Yeah.
right?
Well, look,
like don't know how to use them.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Beans. Here's the thing.
Your. Yeah.
When you have this, right? When you have this type of situation, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I was blessed to go to some great schools when I was a kid. In fact, they're a hell of a lot better than I thought they were. when I look at shit now, right?
Yeah.
Because like I never forget one time I was writing something. You know how you write 3 things in a sentence where you'll write one word and then you put the comma, and then you write another word, and then you can put the comma or not put the comma, and you put and then you put the other word.
Conjunctions.
One time I wrote that with 2 commas and then the and the comma in front of the and my wife was like, "Why would you put that right there? You don't have to put a comma in front of that." I said, "Well, actually, you can put a comma in front of it. It's called the Oxford comma."
Yeah.
Or you don't have to, right? She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes." So like I actually had a decent education. I didn't realize until I got older, right? But when you look at stuff like this, Beans, I get what you're saying. The ultimate thing is, can they read? But here's where the problem comes in. I guarantee you private schools ain't dealing with this bullshit.
No, they're not.
No.
You see what I'm saying? This
selective
Apple shit.
enrollment.
I guarantee you they not. You feel me? But what'd you
It's
say?
called selective enrollment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have went. I told y'all my counselor at my school when I graduated from 8th grade, the counselor dude sent a letter to every school I applied to telling them not to take me because I was a behavioral problem. And they some of them was asking like, why are you telling us? I was like, yo, because he got behavior problems. But my only behavior problem was that my mama had me in corduroy jeans and XJ 900s.
Yeah, I've been talking about your ass too.
Right?
Let me
So, that was the problem. But I'm saying that to say I tested through the roof, that was like only thing I ever had an issue with was science because I just couldn't get into it. But reading, like that shit, reading, when I hear people say motherfuckers can't read, that's just disturbing. I'm like, you can't. How the fuck you can't read?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this though because I'm gonna get out of here. I got to do my birthday shit. Salute the BMU. Salute to JT. Salute to my man Goldie. I wish we could have got deeper into it, man, because I think your heart is in the right place. I think your intentions are in the right place. I trust that with you. I appreciate that. My man R-Pain. Hey, man, you get on my nerves, but you my brother. I got $5 for you for your birthday. In the chat, salute to y'all.
Happy birthday,
I do want to say to the sister. I appreciate that, y'all. I do want to say to the sister though that I appreciate you. Say you've been a teacher for 26 years. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your efforts because for 26 years, what I know for a fact is that at some point during those 26 years, you cared. Even if a motherfucker say you didn't always care, you did. And I want to say to you, I thank you for caring because coming from somebody whose mama was a teacher, I know what that's like having to deal with our kids every day. So I don't want to slice you on that. And the fact that you even armed yourself with this information to understand what's going on shows that you care. So I'm mad we couldn't have a deeper conversation, but it was nice meeting you. And I just want to say that and leave on a positive note. I love y'all. Peace, man.
Peace out, bro.
Happy birthday, boy.
Happy birthday.
Arpain got a question, then we're going to get out of here. Arpain, what's your question?
Man, my only thing is, what drives people to do the right thing no matter what social economic background they have? Because we have people who bring it out of the mud, right? They don't make excuses for where they are. And where do you get that from? Like, for example, Beans will be the guy who's, obviously intelligent, but he'll tell you about his background. And you'll say, well, where did he get it from? Where do we get this thing from that, especially black folks, with the oppression that we've been under for all those years, and we're still standing. And now we're supposed to be kind of in a jet stream, and we've been being held back. And do you see what I'm saying? If I look at anecdotally, right, I'm trying to figure out, and I may not try to figure out, why do some people make right decisions just based on, what they want out of life, regardless of where they come from. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's something intrinsic about, I think, a lot of us, and I don't think we get enough credit for that, right? Because we have a lot of bad shit elsewhere, and a lot of people pull the shit out of the mud. Right? And so one more thing, we got the Supreme Court ruling that just came out about the gerrymandering. I think it's the second emancipation of black people. I think it's the best thing to happen to black people for a long time. because now we're going to be voting on who we think are best candidates, regardless of whether they're black or white. Yeah. And nobody could pigeonhole our vote in a certain area and to selectively give us some asshole to vote for.
Yeah. And I wanted so bad to disagree with you just now. Okay. But you actually said some shit I agreed with. Like, damn, I can't disagree with a boy.
But I don't know if what you said, our pain, was rhetorical or not. But I do want to say one of the things that
answer it any way you want. If you want.
Yeah. So I can say this: where it comes from is pain and suffering.
Yeah, I agree.
And motherfuckers don't want to do all of that. They don't want to suffer. Or the observation of seeing somebody suffer or go through a lot of things, but pressure and pain, bro, that's what changes shit. Force changes all this shit, bro. Mm-hmm. So, that's just my short answer to it. I mean, I can get more deep, but I know BMU ready to lock this shit up, bro.
All right. I appreciate y'all, man. Anger Man, I appreciate you coming in, man. Goldie, R-Pain, Dame, everybody that came through tonight, man. Information, man. Everybody that came through. First Lady, thank you so much, man, for giving us your time tonight. I appreciate it. I know you got to go over there and take care of the pastor. And take care. Yeah. Go in and cook it, man. Matter of fact, go cook him something. It's 11. Hey, go cook him something.
Hey, he's just getting home from the funeral home, so that's exactly what I'm doing. My wifely duties.
There you go.
So let me say this. Let me say this, BMU. My bad for getting into it with multiple people on your platform. I know it's hard to run. I know it's hard to run a platform when cats get to yelling at each other and shit. And that wasn't my intention. Yeah. I didn't come up here to yell at people. It just ended up that way. But my apologies.
It just ended up that way. Sometimes it's like that, bro. But I appreciate you, man, for coming in, bro. Yeah, I respect you too, man. Got much love for you. Absolutely, bro. R-Pain, thank you, man.
God be blessed, y'all.
No, First Lady, before you go.
God forgive me for all that cursing I did tonight.
First Lady, before you go, I just want to introduce you to R-Pain. I want to introduce you to R-Pain over here because R-Pain, he teaches Bible study. In the last Bible study he taught, he taught this right here.
The toughest things any man has ever done is turn down a nice piece of willing, steaming ass piece of pussy.
Classic. You will never live it down, our pain.
And that's real. That's 100. That's real. That's real.
But I appreciate y'all, man. We're gonna end it on that
note. The book of dick.
You run from that, man. I hope you're running from it.
Hey, man, y'all be good, man. I love all y'all, man.
All right, bye-bye.
Love you back, bro.
Yeah. Black Man Unfiltered Network. We ain't here to play nice. We here to flip everything they told you was normal. Hey. Yeah. Hey. We flipping tables. Yeah. We breaking labels. Facts. No more silence, no more favors. Truth hit hard, can't save it. Yeah. We flipping tables. This that real, no cable. Hey, if it's fake, we unplug it. Welcome to the table. Yeah. I came in the room, they was comfortable, quiet. Smiling in your face, but behind it is riot. They told me be calm, but I'm built for the storm. When the truth in the building, you better transform. They don't like a man when he speak with direction. They love you when broken, confused, and correction. But I'm on a mission, I'm changing perception. No filter, no fear, just raw intersection. System designed just to keep you disabled. Mentally trapped, spiritually labeled. I'm cutting the cords, the lies getting fatal. If it ain't the truth, I'm flipping in the table. We flipping tables. Yeah, we breaking labels. Facts. No more silence, no more favors. Truth hit hard, can't save you. Yeah, we flipping tables. They said don't question, I said watch me. Too many men out here living sloppy. No guidance, no code, no structure, no lead. Now we wonder why families bleed. This ain't hate, this accountability. Look in the mirror with this vulnerability. Masking and frame with responsibility. That's what they fear, that's stability. I'm calling it out, no sugar, no glaze. We breaking these cycles, we shifting in the phase. Legacy built, not lost in the maze. We done being silent, we enter and This ain't just a podcast. It's a movement. It's a reset. If it's built on lies, it gotta fall. We flipping tables. No fear, no fables. Black Man rise, we stable. Now we changing the label. We flipping tables. Truth is non-negotiable. Black Man Unfiltered. This the voice they ain't controlling. Flippin Tables Podcast. Black Man Unfiltered Network. If it don't make you uncomfortable, it ain't real.